Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen, episode number 387. The best worst show you never heard about because we are consistently inconsistent, but daily. We are coming to you live today from permissionless day one of the hackathon, Hack for Good. We have Blockworks, Fireblocks, we have Corium, Scroll. We have a ton of people building some amazing things. Right now, we want to do a huge shout out to our D-Gods fam, and we have some amazing builders. We got hooked up with one of the first, we're going to take it off here off the wrist, D-Bands. And what this D-Band is a social connection tool. It has a built-in RFID chip, so they're going to be working on some amazing things here. What's up? We got joining us, we have Mr. Rowdy from the wonderful state of Colorado.
That's right.
How are you doing?
Doing well.
What are you, is it, so did you just get here? What have you been doing all day?
No, I've been here. We've been hacking a little bit. We had an initial plan coming in here, but this is kind of a different hackathon.
Yeah.
So there's no like actual tracks. It's all bounty based.
Yeah.
So we had our original idea that we had to throw out the window because there's no just like best of overall or best DeFi or best now or anything along those lines. So now we're doing something a little different. We're just calling it I'm kind of like losing it right now.
And it is midnight for everyone who doesn't know, you know. So
repo rewards. That's
repo reward.
Because essentially we're just like using the Gitcoin stack to fund people that commit code to public source repos. Yeah.
Gitcoin does amazing things, and one of the things that I always tell people about is getting your Gitbook passport. You know.
And so that's what we're going to use to like. Hopefully, if we get everything done, right?
Yeah.
It's like 24-hour thing. But that's what we're going to use to like verify that the user's GitHub account
is theirs.
For them to like claim
nice
rewards. Use quadratic voting with that. So we like have someone put in a repo name. It goes, grabs all the users, how many commits they've gotten. If you've had a lot of commits, then everyone that has those commits to the repo gets voting shares based on how many commits they do, and then they vote for each other of who's like been really valuable to contributor to the repo.
And one of the things that within the Gitbook passport is not only commits, but also if those commits have actually got grants and the size of grants. Are you going to be doing anything with that to give a little bit more power to those that have raised or donated more?
That's a good idea. Yeah, we could do that. I mean, we'll see what we get to.
That is a taco idea there.
Yeah, totally.
I'm part of your team if you win anything, right?
Taco's always helping out.
All right, so are you going to be staying here for all permissionless as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
What are some of the projects that you're looking forward to seeing or meeting, or some of the speakers and stuff like that?
Man, I haven't even really looked at the speakers yet. I'm looking forward to, like always interested to hear what Aztec or Scroll has going on in the ZK space. I think it'll be cool who else talking?
Oh my God, there's about 112 speakers last I checked.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Openings with Eric Voorhees and Vitalix.
Oh yeah. That'll be great.
Yeah. And there's the big thing of Vitalix Twitter getting hacked today.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Someone posted a drain link on Twitter, on Vitalix Twitter. It's taken over for a minute. So there's some craziness there. But a lot of different hacks we've been hearing about lately. Even what is it? Stake, the betting site.
Yeah,
Stake.
They
just got attacked by Lazarus.
Yeah. Okay.
So Lazarus is just taking money left and right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of regulation stuff, a lot of amazing stuff. I don't know,
I'm excited to hopefully we get some updates around how things are looking for SEC and Coinbase stuff, or just kind of some more regulation clarity around that. About what's going on with Wyoming and their stablecoin. I'd be interested to hear anything about that stuff. Maybe I don't know, is there any talks going on for PayPal?
PayPal is speaking here.
Okay.
And so they're pay USD. That's going to be out. I think they might be giving out a couple of them here and there. Who knows? And then at the same time, Texas Blockchain Association. I think Texas Coin might also be here as well.
Oh, sweet.
They want to through blockchain secede from the union.
There you go.
Via
every couple of years, like Texas is like, how are we gonna secede?
Yeah.
Try something out. Try something different.
They're like, we just got to get away from California.
Yeah.
Just get away from California.
A lot of people from California coming here.
I know. Hey, Austin is a great space for the tech community.
Totally.
What are there any side events that you're looking really forward to?
Yeah, there's a few good ones. There's, like the Bankless VC side event. Bankless doing a run with Ben Lakoff. Shout out to Ben, who he did Crypto Mondays in LA and then started up in Denver, and now he's working for Bankless VC. That'll be cool. There's are
you going to Crypto Monday in Austin Monday night?
I don't know. I was gonna try to go to Kill Tony, but
I gotta go to Kill Tony.
Yeah.
I need 2 tickets to Kill Tony. Yeah. I do. No, like I will give an arm and a leg and an NFT to for 2 Kill Tony tickets.
Well, I looked, they were sold out, but I think they were on some secondary sale or something. I don't know. We gotta check it out. I'll let you know.
I will put my name in the bucket.
All right.
I'll go tell the worst blockchain jokes I can think of. Better than Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live. Or I'll be the start of the next bear market. People will pay me not to talk about their project.
There you go.
Oh man.
All right. Yeah, we're going.
Come over here. Come get on camera real quick. Say hi to 2 people and my grandma.
Hello, Grandma.
Yes. So
we're hacking together.
What are you looking forward to here at Permissionless, and what are some of the tracks you're looking forward to?
I am looking forward to sleeping tonight, and then I'm looking forward to finishing this project, and I have not looked at a single thing about Permissionless beyond that.
Oh, and by the way,
but I'm excited to see what it's going to be.
Go get yourself some Delta 9 and go to sleep.
I don't know what that means, but I am excited about it.
It's the Texas version of pot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I saw some of those. Not the same. Colorado's.
Yeah. All right. You guys have an amazing night. I will see you guys later.
Absolutely.
And I'm still mad that you didn't answer me on Telegram, and I'm saying that live on YouTube.
I was out camping. We only do Crypto Mondays every other Monday in Denver.
That's not.
Because they got
your group is called Crypto Monday, not Crypto Every Other Monday.
Well, yeah, the other guys that did Solidity deep dives, and we had a lot of cool events going on in Colorado.
There is.
But there's Solidity deep dives was happening, and then the Cryptorado Seedstock meetups.
Yep.
So
there's
people were getting burnt out and not coming at all.
Okay.
It was a bit overlap.
All right.
Oh.
We'll have to work on that.
All right.
All right. It's good to see you.
Good seeing you too, man.
All right.
I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow. All right. So we are going to go around, and we're going to go talk to some of the cool projects that are building. There's just a lot of cool people here. We actually also got to meet some of the founding team of Musk Gold. So we might talk to them a little bit and, just helping people network. But really one of the coolest things so far, we walked in and we sat down and we have not moved because we met one of the coolest projects that we want to see win. And we're probably going to go meet every other dev group and see and decide that they're going to win as well. And really everyone's just a winner. So we're going to turn around real quick and we're going to introduce D-Bands. And D-Bands is going to talk about what they're building. Gentlemen, what's up?
Hey guys, how's everybody going?
Good, good. What are you doing tonight?
So we're out here coming in from Dallas, Texas. So we're in and just coding away. We're building out D-Bands. It's for the cause of social anxiety, helping people really connect in real world. 2 years ago, I was out at one of the live events at NFT NYC, and I found myself feeling like an outcast. Well, that wasn't used to be me before COVID, and I think this is going to help a lot of people connect and break that ice and feel a little bit comfortable when they're in front of thousands of strangers. So we're just looking to help and really connect people and and make people feel at home, which is why we all got here, right? Make them feel like there's that level of camaraderie, and we just hope to be able to fill all the requirements that it takes to really speak from the heart when it comes to what we're building and how we're trying to connect with people. Yep.
So one of the things we talked for just a quick second about earlier was Big Three. You know, you guys, Killer Three. You know, my project owns Team Power, and I challenge Frank every time I talk to him, like on a space. I'm like, you know, put a bet down on Team Power. And one of the saddest things, Big Three used to play in Frisco, right down the street from my dad. So I always wanted to send him tickets to go, but he never wanted to go. But then they moved away, and I'm sort of sad about that. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on this year's Big Three teams?
So I actually had the chance to go to the first one that happened in Dallas again. They had their first launch out there. So it was really great meeting Sonny and everybody else, just handing out merch, really just being prominent in the space and being able to expose and like really just show how we show up, right, and how we're dedicated. Luckily, I'm also based out in Frisco, so I was able to see it all a year ago, and I went to every game. I was such a maxi. I'm not a big sports fan, but just seeing something that you're part of,
community,
it's amazing. Yeah, seeing Power play, like it's a different experience, and to being live and watching it, it's unlike anything. Good day.
So where can people find you on social, and can you spell it out for the algo?
Yeah, sure thing. You guys can find me on Twitter, and it's Alpha. So that's spelled 4LPH4 _ 0x3. And you guys can find a link on the bio, the project we're building out, and stay tuned for our progress, and hope to have you guys in our community.
Heck yeah. And just, it's another way, like, you know, this is something you took on your own, and you found a community, and you're like, this is how I want to build my appreciation to it. And you just sort of went from there. And that's one of the coolest things. We see so many different builders coming out of Degen, out of Penguins, out of, like, you know, is it really the power of IP, or is it the idea of seeing so many people build that really makes the community that powerful? Like, look at, you know, Made by Apes and all of that IP stuff. It's just so crazy and cool. So, what was one of the most inspirational projects out of DGOTS that sort of like said, like, if they can do that, so can I?
So I think it was in my first NFT NYC, and I met a guy who ended up building Degen Pix, and he's a UX UI guy, and his name is Sadie. And it really just seeing him build throughout that first year really gave me that confidence to see, like, I met the guy, right? I saw him when he was like telling me, like, hey, you know, I'm going into the space and building something, and finally seeing a product, right? And then everyone else who led up to that, like, it really helped me gain that confidence to, like, pick up and actually start building and doing stuff. Very much like it did to get me my voice when it came on social media, and now I'm trying to find my voice in person. So
amazing. So outside of the hackathon, is there anything at Permissionless that you're looking forward to?
Honestly, it's just meeting all the DeFi events that are going to be at throughout these next 3-4 days, and just being around people who are tech and really nerdy, right? Which is how I like kind of identify myself. So
nerds rule the world.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, I love to see that in the next few days,
or at least write the code that says they do.
Yeah, for real.
Any words of advice? Any last thoughts?
I think honestly, the only thing is be yourself, right? And I think when you're true to yourself and you find other people that find that comfort in you being natural, it kind of helps you a little bit more to feel comfortable in your skin when you're around people. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Hey, we will see you around. We've literally like just sat down next to you and we haven't left yet. We've just been running business out of here. And so we're going to go talk to random other people, put them on camera, put them on the spot. We'll be back later on. Let's see here. Who do we have next to us? I think we have Dax.
What's up?
How are you doing, sir?
Tired but happy.
How long have you been here for?
Since 8 o'clock this morning.
Dang. And what are you doing?
I am taking a break right now.
All right.
Yeah.
What are you building?
I am building out some extensions to some of the MetaMask demos we have planned this week.
All right. And so what is something that you, so I don't know what I can say or what I can't say, so I'm going to leave it to you, but what do you do for MetaMask?
I am an open source contributor and contractor. So we are building out a CLI tool for starting up Web3 projects and contributing to open source repos, code, anything that really improves the developer experience and the product experience around MetaMask.
So more on the, not necessarily the UX side, because they get that sort of easy, but you're looking at the UI fixing and stuff like that and unsucking MetaMask.
Not as much UI for the user experience, but for the developer experience. So unsucking the experience of building things for MetaMask, and maybe not even unsucking, but clarifying the issues and the code obfuscation around. This is the proper way to utilize, the SDKs and APIs that MetaMask has put out. And here are templates and tutorials and examples of how we should be using MetaMask to the, our fullest extent.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that's sort of been great about MetaMask is no matter how much people try to compete with it, you really can't. It's for everyone, both sides, not just looking shiny and clean, but it's what communities use to build out as well and build their projects around that. What's been one of the biggest things that you've seen that you're thinking that you're bringing a change to MetaMask for devs?
Well, it's not just MetaMask. You have to remember that they've got a parent company, Consensus, which is also Infura, and the entire suite of Truffle tools, Ganache, local development for. You haven't used Ganache?
I know of it. I haven't touched it yet.
Well, it's great. It sets up an entire local Ethereum blockchain for you to run and test on your local machine.
All right.
And Truffle is their tool. It's like Hardhat that allow you to deploy directly to the blockchain and deploy your contracts, run auditing, all that kind of stuff, and compile your smart contracts on your machine. So they've got an entire tool chain that people aren't utilizing, or they're using Hardhat or a mix of tools. So with the CLI tool, we're actually bringing it all together into templated repos, into templated code generation, so that you don't spend weeks. I'm going to go decide, all right, I think I need Hardhat here. All right, this is my chain. So then what am I going to deploy with Alchemy? Am I going to deploy with Infura? We're solving that by creating a single developer flow for new developers, people who are young in the space, or people who just aren't quite familiar with how deploying a contract works yet. We're trying to simplify that workflow and make it understandable for everybody.
Nice. Do you believe more in do you think that there's still room for no-code solutions, or do you think that there should actually be work and labor in producing things? And by no-code solutions ends up sort of hurting the space by creating more junk or test pushed to the main chain rather than keeping it on testnet?
Okay. In your regards to the junk that gets pushed to chain, this is a developer tool. This is not low code. This is a command line tool. It's going to be generating a repo. It's going to be generating actual contract and actual code that you're expected as a developer to go in and edit.
Mm-hmm.
So this is supposed to be a power user tool for experienced developers, as well as a beginner-friendly tool for newer developers. When it comes to low-code tools, I don't necessarily agree with the statement that you made about it being low-code or labor-intensive. I think that the labor-intensive will always exist, and low-code is not taking the place of that. It is supplementing, and in some cases, you're right, it is supplementing and creating junk. But I think that any developer that's building low-code tools understands that just like building a technology that has the risk of spam, they're going to take steps to mitigate it. And I think it's the responsibility of low-code devs to have that in mind when they develop those tools. But I think that us developers who are deep into the code, deep into the wallet layer, deep into layer 1 or layer 0 type situations, that we're going to be thinking deeply about these issues, and that my goal is that when I think deeply about these issues, I want to be able to make it understandable for all levels of dev.
Okay. I'm going to put you on the spot for some hard questions.
Go for it.
Axelar or layer 0?
Tell me a little bit more about them. I need to formulate an opinion.
So the different protocols for both interoperability.
Okay.
We have layer 0 as a company with their solution, and we have Axelar with their solution for with partnering with like Subsquid and stuff like that. For like Axelar has their interoperable chain quest ICP or ICQ, and then we have layer 0 building their SDK palette for interoperability, and then we have is it? It's not Consensus that's putting it out. Maybe Masari, the CIPP or CPII. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting my
not quite
alphabet
sure, but I met with Axelar today
Mhm.
to learn about their products. Had never heard of them before. I've seen Layer Zero a little bit. I love Layer Zero's idea.
Layer Zero and Stargate. You know,
Okay.
yeah.
I love the idea of an SDK and bringing it to that level. Axelar, again, is operating on the level of an abstraction of writing smart contracts that create interoperability, which is really cool. But I want to get back to first principles, which is if we can start creating interactions and creating tools that allow us to interact directly from a wallet or from our first principle, from our first point of contact with the technology, we don't need 10 layers of abstraction. So we're seeing companies like Blockscope, super cool tech, right? Being able to ingest all that data and give us real-time feedback on what's happening on chain. Because when you call like a Bored Apes, you know, you've got 5 of their contracts that are also being triggered. And that was really cool for what we had with the crypto boom, right? And everyone was just trying to add functionality, and value. But what you ended up doing was piling 10 layers of abstraction on everything. That's great. We're seeing all the things that we
Creates
could
more transaction junk.
right, but we also saw all the possibilities with crypto.
Yeah.
Now let's go back down, just like going back to compiler, going back to bytecode, and seeing, okay, where can we optimize this? What experiences can Consensus bring, MetaMask bring to move things off that level of abstraction and bring it down closer to not only make things more efficient, but more understandable and better devs in general.
So, if someone is just chopping their hops, coming from Web 2, where would you point them first to learn more about Web 3 being a dev in Solidity?
Dev in Solidity. I actually have a strong hot take on this.
I want that.
I'm dumping Solidity. I'm never going to write a Solidity smart contract again, and I am going to write Rust smart contracts to compile into EVM bytecode.
It's just awesome.
Yeah, no, I get it, and it's a sin coming from a TypeScript React dev like Wasm. Are you crazy? No, but I'm a strong believer in what the Rust community has built and what the Rust language it can do for the blockchain community, especially when we talk about compiling for EVM. I think it's absolutely amazing. I love ZK proofs and the technology that's underlying that, and that the Rust community was the first ones to take the step into implementing full ZKP libraries into Rust and us being able to compile them for the blockchain. I still haven't seen, personally, something to my satisfaction that would run in Solidity that allows you to utilize zero-knowledge proofs. I totally understand that we have Linea and MetaMask and Ethereum have Linea. And I can't speak to how that it was built because I don't know, because that's not my department.
It was one of those, for me, it was one of those things that was just pushed through on my end. I was like, oh, cool.
Oh, it's cool.
Another chain. I'm on. And same thing with Palm as well.
I think so.
I haven't done anything on Palm, but it just, I'm like, okay, cool. I pushed through onto that. I got something there. I think I'm running maybe 50 chains on my MetaMask. That's one thing I do love about MetaMask and chain list and stuff like that, being able to add in stuff a lot easier. And I have my choice, everything from Keck chain to BNB Kink and just all those weird forks of everything else, God chain and all these other weird things. And then the fun stuff, we see Phantom and their DAG cycle and stuff like that. And I really was sad to see what is happening with Phantom with multi-chain, with the multi-chain pack. Me personally, I've been a huge proponent of multi-chain for a long fucking time. They were, them being targeted specifically by Chinese authorities, I think led, to some things, but I'm glad they're still around and pulling DAG. I got introduced to DAGs via Hyperlens and stuff like that. And so I think that there's some really cool tech there. Seeing some cool stuff within Polygon, and I'm sad that they're sunsetting Edge. But some really cool things building out. What's one of the EVM chains that you have some excitement for?
Definitely Linea. I haven't had enough time to do with alt chains because, like I said, I've been working on that developer experience and writing quality code that can be used as templates for that stuff out there. But Linea's, I have kind of an absurd amount of Linea test ETH burning a hole in my pocket. Well,
you can send it anytime to player1taco.eth.
Oh yeah, no, and if you find more of the MetaMask team and the Infura team, they were issued quite a bit as well. So no, but the Dorley Linea ETH test ETH is really cool. I'm super excited to see Linea start to move into its main chain, and it's coming off of test, and like we really have Linea starting to work and in production. I was scared for a little bit because of like the early days when they first released Linea. There was a lot of downtime. We all saw that. We all saw that. We were struggling at MetaMask when I was working with Eric on some demos and helping him critique his demos. We were trying to just mint some demos, and we couldn't even practice, creating demos or test code because the chain was so slow. And to see that Infura picked that up and has fixed those issues in a matter of months is something that I don't think that team gets enough props for.
So I know, like, the thing with Infura, though, especially with the tie into MetaMask, is locking RPCs, collecting data, user IP data and stuff like that. And like now everyone goes like, turn off these settings, turn on these settings, so you keep your privacy, so you don't tie your wallets together and stuff like that, and keeping the pseudo anonymity that you can have via blockchain and stuff like that. What do you think is some of the ways people can protect themselves on chain?
Okay. Aside from kind of the obvious boilerplate, security stuff, don't share your seed phrase, don't do that kind of thing. One of the cool things is, especially if we're talking like junior dev to mid-level dev kind of audience here, I believe, what was it, Node, or there is the BIP 132 or 32 package, and everything that's needed to generate a seed phrase can be done in like 30 lines of code. So you can go out and create a bunch of private key, public key pairs and randomly generate them your absolute self and put them in your own wallet, however you want to do that, and utilize those. And then in terms of settings for Infura, personally, I don't have anything to hide, so I don't do anything crazy with those. If I felt the need that I had to be absolutely private with something, then I'm spinning up a completely new instance in MetaMask and probably on a new device, honestly, and then never touching anything, interacting with anything or any previous account that I've interacted with before with that same device. In fact, I actually wrote a little startup script. Every time my computer restarts, it shuffles my MAC address and my hardware IDs. Okay. So that's a little thing you can do. It's about 5 lines in your command terminal that you can set to run in startup, and you can, that way, even if you join a network you've joined before, it won't recognize you as the same device.
Yeah. One of the things that I talk to a lot of devs about and want to see more use of, and I don't know if this is something that MetaMask can support with, but more access to like revoke.cash or even delegate. .cash, so people can delegate wallets, so they don't have to, so they can benefit from holding all of their assets safely, because a lot of places token gate, but with a delegated wallet, you can access those token gates without risking your main assets. And then the same thing with like revoke.cash, revoking access, it's one of those things to where that's something we need to do, but if we have to pay to give access, why are we having to pay to revoke access to keep ourselves safe? Is there any way that MetaMask could step up to the plate and look at providing security for more people by allowing them to revoke access without it costing them anything?
Well, you got to remember, I'm a MetaMask contractor and working in open source, so I can't hold them to the metal on any of that. That being said, I know for a fact that security and privacy and the focus of MetaMask since the beginning has always been that, and that they work hard to do all those different kinds of things, and that every step they take, and even when it comes to a slow rollout with newer things or underlying technologies, the SDKs coming along and chugging along, I know that security and those kinds of things are forefront of their mind. It's talked about constantly. It's something I hear about constantly. But again, being a contractor and being outside of it, I'm not privy to those internal conversations. I get to hear it secondhand when we're talking or we're doing a code review and stuff like that comes out. But from the way that I talk to the team, and from what I hear, is they're absolutely passionate about that kind of stuff, and it's always something at the forefront of their mind. So I have nothing bad to say about the team in that regard.
One of the things that might be a hot question then, there's a lot of people on the dev side, MetaMask is the way. What are some of the other MetaMask or other Ethereum wallets that devs might be able to use and find some access and use for outside of MetaMask, or just different functionality that might help them out?
So I actually haven't toyed with that much. Again, working MetaMask SDK, MetaMask Consensus products is what I've been working with a lot. But I know for a fact that there are node packages and npm packages out there that you can implement tiny wallets in like 10 lines of code. So if you want to play around with a virtual wallet or try to spin up any one of these concepts that we're talking about, you can go out there and find a GitHub repository or package. And again, you're not going to risk anything. You can do it on a test chain. You can even move some of your assets into these if you feel confident in what you've built. And I encourage everybody to go out there, get messy, try new stuff, build your own wallet. If you think you can do it better, build your own wallet. And most of what MetaMask has is open source. So like we're ready and waiting to see some people contribute, have a pull request, comment on our code.
Do you think with all of the security stuff that's been going on, like there's new stuff with Lazarus Group in the news today and stuff like that, and all the different hacks and stuff, that there is a boundary with open source that you let the good guys know, but you also let the bad guys know? That is there a boundary that you see there at all?
I'm gonna stay true to my tux tattoo and say no. Open source is inherently good. The fact that all of it is out there means that all of those, that many more eyes are on it to fix those problems and to address those problems. I think that when it comes to security, vulnerabilities, patching, that the open source community, that's one of the core things that the open source community has right, is the ability to identify issues and patch those issues quickly. And that when that doesn't happen, it's not because of the inherent nature of open source, but people breaking down the communication.
A question that you may not know the answer for that I just literally thought of right now. There was near the beginning end of the year, there was that huge MetaMask hack from old wallets.
Okay.
And that was traced and stuff like that. And then there's been there was an issue with the BIP 30 being used in a time code issue and stuff like that as well.
Okay.
When there was a time code on that encryption, it would generate the same wallet address and stuff like that repeated. What do you see in the future for protecting new users, new layers of encryption, and the thing right now that everyone talks about, though I think it might be, they're looking at future proofing, something that it's a little bit, but quantum protection, stuff like that. So where do you see that going on in the next layer of protecting users?
When you said quantum, are you referencing like quantum computing?
Yes.
Oh dear. So my background was in the Navy and actually nuclear physics. So I do actually know about quantum units and building quantum logic, and I've gotten to run some actual quantum functions on IBM machines before. Very fun. That being said, that the move to chain BIP 32 and Diffel-Heyman and the move that mathematicians have been doing, and they've been moving heaven and earth. I mean, we saw that with the Israelis, and when ZKP came out in 2018, I mean, the mathematicians in our space are moving heaven and earth when it comes to encryption and the way that math is evolving. Like, I can't even keep up. I have to abstract it down to an algebra level to keep up with what we're doing. And I would say that just like any piece of technology, it's based on firm scientific principles, and you should follow security best practices. As we come out with them, as the industry develops, we're taking input from our engineers, our mathematicians, and we're trying to put those out. When you talked about the MetaMask task earlier, and you talked about old wallets being hacked, security practices come into play again. We always recommend that you update to your latest version, and that you keep update on security patches and everything else, just like common sense in our space. When it comes to the end of privacy, I really see the quantum computing revolution as something that's going to be really interesting over the next few years. I would say things like PGP keys and the things that encrypt conventional things like email are going to be the first things to be attacked, not blockchain, because blockchain's been thinking about this. We moved, didn't Ethereum move to quantum resistant encryption like 2 years ago? Whereas, have we changed the SMTP protocol since, when was it, 72? SMTP is one of the oldest protocols we have out there, right? Has the key exchange been updated? So I think Web 2 actually might suffer more than us comparatively, because we've had more warning. right? Because the distributed ledger was all based on the exchange of encryption keys. And if that was the cornerstone of the technology, we're always thinking, here comes quantum mechanics, here comes, all this new computing technology. And so we've, at least the blockchain space, I think is kept ahead of the curve when it comes to that. So I think it'll be interesting to see what, just like with Bluetooth or with SIM cards, the protocols that govern those haven't changed in years, and we saw all of these hacks come up. I think we're going to sit back and laugh a little bit and tongue-in-cheek giggle at, oh, what protocol got left behind? Is it did Bluetooth encryption protocol get left behind? What critical flaws are we going to miss? Because there's always going to be something we miss. But I think it's going to be more in Web 2 than anything else.
So this might be you being a mathematician with your background and stuff like that. A random question. I've seen it done once. I watched the YouTube video of it, and I've always thought of just doing it for the heck of it. I saw a SHA-256 encryption done by hand.
Oh dear Lord. I can't do 256 by hand off the top of my head. I can probably do quantum photon polarization. I could probably do the complex conjugate if you want to do some of that. But it's been a minute. I'd probably have to take a refresher. But just today, I actually helped another team. It was really cool. They needed to design some circuits for a ZKP proof, and I actually spit out a little document because they wanted to use ZKP to prove if someone is physically close to another person through location data without ever revealing the location data. And we actually ended up using the absolute value and imaginary numbers to show that if it was positive, if the number came back positive, it was true. If it came back negative, it was false. And so we created, instead of it being, x minus x sub 2 and y sub 2, and creating a circuit for each one of those layers, we simplified it down to just 2 circuit layers, and we're able to use very basic complex algebra to solve that problem. So that was the fun thing we did today.
Nice. And so, I guess one of those things would be, trustless, permissionless, but social media type of apps in a way and stuff like that. There's some cool stuff there. Like, are you close to someone, but without knowing, and giving up who you are and stuff like that as well. There's some cool stuff also within like IoT as well that could be really used with that as well. And so, ICP's building some cool stuff in there. I don't know anything other than the words. So, and I literally heard it was like a 1-second blurb while I was driving today. I think it's called ZK Bitcoin ZK.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think I'd seen something like that, Bitcoin wanting to embrace that. I mean, but the extent that I've seen it, I've been more playing with like I said, Rust libraries. There's a bunch of different Rust libraries that are out there implementing OpenZK. That's the GitHub project I want to shout out.
Okay.
OpenZK is a library and repository of Rust implementations for ZK proofs, which is really, really cool.
And that would be OpenZK on GitHub.
Yes, it is. And that's a really, really cool project. Shout out to what they're doing. And I could totally see someone grabbing one of those packages and really using it to implement ZKPs on Bitcoin. Or like I've been trying to do is grab some of those packages and implement them with the Rust compiler on EVMs so that we can run ZK proofs in smart contracts on the EVM chain.
You should go do that on where you might get some cool momentum, or at least like community from everyone that loves the privacy side of things, but on PLS, Pulse Chain.
Pulse Chain. Okay, tell me about Pulse Chain, please.
So Pulse Chain, it's under controversy right now because it's all tied to Richard Hart.
Okay.
And the Hex and Pulse and stuff like that. But it's an Ethereum fork from around May 13th. So whatever you have in your had on your wallet around May 13th, May 11th, you have on Pulse Chain. NFTs, tokens, everything, and so because it's a fork of it, and so but they just switched out ETH for PLS.
Okay.
And so there's some cool stuff there, but one of the big things that they've built their community on teaching was like privacy you know, and then a lot of them all got mad because they didn't really understand Ledger and Ledger's update and stuff like that to the Ledger Nano, Pulse X or Plus X, Pulse Plus S Plus. I think that they thought that they just, because I think Ledger did a horrible job with the PR explaining it. Like they didn't say like, oh, it's something you have to opt into, then you have to approve, and then you have to pay for it. So like it's not just automatic, either, you know, because everyone thought that it was stored on the device and there was no way to get it off. And you're like, you're literally connecting your device online to make sure it's a true device. So there is going to be some things here, but what you're giving in when you're giving out your keys to 3 different parties, then, you know, you're providing yourself a key to get those back from those parties. And so there's a couple different layers there. But I don't know, out of hardware wallets, what do you what's your favorite right now?
Well, it used to be Ledger. I thought Ledger was the coolest thing to slice bread back in 2018, you know, and all that kind of stuff. In terms of hardware wallets, I've been focusing on the MetaMask thing. So honestly, everything's in my MetaMask wallet.
Is MetaMask coming out with a hardware wallet?
I don't know. I couldn't answer that. I wish I knew, because I would probably be first in line if they were.
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah, that was going to be my next point. Anyone who wants to try a hardware wallet, there's a Raspberry Pi online for $35 waiting for you.
I have 2 of them that I'm going to be repurposing into Zen nodes for X1 chain from back in my days of Helium network.
What's Helium doing nowadays? Is Helium still kicking?
They're still kicking. They're 5G. They moved to Solana.
No way.
Yeah, and now they have cell phone service mostly in Miami. They partner with T-Mobile as well. They're providing decentralized cell phone service for $5 a month.
No way. Well, now I gotta go pick one of those up. That's legit.
I literally was talking. I was in their space like 3-4 days ago on stage asking some questions and stuff like that, and because I wanted to repurpose but because they don't have the 5G antenna and stuff like that, and I don't want to. They were knockoffs that I got from like Jag and from like Bobcat, you know, in that Demio or in the Helium community very early on and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I think that proof of coverage IoT devices are pretty amazing. I think that's why I love Nodal.
Yeah.
I can run a node right on my phone, and it's just connecting to low energy Bluetooth. And I think SDKs that projects can implement into their apps, into their dApps that run in the background, that can earn them token and provide service and stuff like that.
Okay.
I think are just really cool.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I just, you know, there's just so many cool things, but it's really hard, you know, like someone who runs everything off their MetaMask, you know, yes. How many ledgers do I have? I have 4 active ledgers right now.
Right.
You know, for different projects. I use one ledger just for different multi-sigs, you know, on you know, what Gnosis isn't, it's safe now. I think it's just safe.
Is it just safe now? I did Gnosis for a little bit too. I liked it. I liked the concept behind it. I found the math behind multi-sig wallets and then clamping together. I found it exhausting, kind of a level of abstraction. I understand the value of it, and once you get your head around it, it's a really cool and it's really good fundamental technology. And I think it's really great for organizations, and really clever for if you just want to do 2 wallets to doubly secure like what you're doing and separate those keys. Like that's a really, really cool concept, and I love what they're doing. I'm glad they're still killing it.
Yeah, no, I think the only thing that I don't like about Gnosis is I can't use one safe for all chains.
Okay.
You know, like technically I guess I could, and then like import that into my MetaMask, and then I'm completely devaluing the purpose of that vault, you know, so to speak. But like the fact that I have to do a different vault for BSC, I have to do a different one, and it's all tied to their RPC side things and stuff like that. What are some of your favorite RPCs that you like outside of Infura?
Alchemy was an early one. Okay. I met Eric and a couple other guys on, I don't know if they're there anymore, but the Alchemy's old DevRel team. That's where I got their faucet. I got a lot of the ETH from them.
I have like 10 billion DAI.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Do you really? That's a lot of DAI.
I try to send DAI, Groli DAI to like whoever the heck I can, just like because like it won't even create a value because I have so much of it.
Yeah, I think Eric and I actually, because Eric's the head of DevRel here at MetaMask. I think last year in 2021, year before, we did a live stream and we were building from first principles. Like we were asking each other idiot-proof questions. And I think we weren't touching Infura. I think we did for that MetaMask demo, we actually did end up using Alchemy and Wagme and a few other like third-party packages and stuff like that. So even within MetaMask and within like the DevRels and everyone in the space, we use each other's tools, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, everybody loves to build. That's the best thing about the space. So you get to work with everybody, and you get to work with all the different tools.
Yeah. So I heard we're just, I literally, because I drove here from New York. So
Drove?
Yes. That is what I do. That's what Taco does. Whenever he's Taco stateside, he drives to different events. So I spent the last 3 hours of my day like in Spaces and Twitter and like Paul Barron and stuff like that. Someone had said that like there's a separation between devs and everyone else.
There is.
And that they think that what's up?
You're Taco?
I'm Taco.
Sorry,
Not a problem. And so there's a disconnect that devs are creating things and that they're just sort of saying, well, if the common person doesn't understand it, then they shouldn't use it. Yet they're building stuff for the future that we see that blockchain might not always be the solution, but it has one. And it's, if not blockchain, decentralization. Do you think that there's that bridge disconnect and what can be built, and like what can build that, what can gap that bridge?
So that's always been an argument back and forth. I love this. I absolutely love this topic. I love this line of like questioning, because this was even a conversation we had in Web 2, right? In big tech, it was, well, why does big tech company get to have my data? Well, your data is meaningless without the engineering skill that we put into it to give your data meaning that we could sell to advertisers, right? So, for the devs, that was how we made our money. And to us, that's a good thing, and if you don't want it, you don't have to be on our platform. That's kind of the stay off my lawn argument, right? Mm-hmm. But when it comes to Web3 and us building together, I actually was on a Twitter space just the other day. I slipped into one with artists, mm-hmm. and it reminded me how much I love this space and why I like to get on these spaces. We even talked about, I would love to do a live stream once a week where an artist comes in and then we just open up chat, and then people who don't understand something, I will build it on stream, like right there to help walk people through the process. Like I would love to do that. It's one of my
TacoBytes is a daily show.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
This is episode 387.
387?
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So just over a year.
Yeah.
Just over a year. But yeah, no, bridging the gap between art, like I think of it like devs.
That was
artists.
a hint that you could come on TacoBytes and do that.
I would love to. I would love to if you guys want to set up a time and like even a registry of like people want to see this project built, or what can be done with the chain, or everything from like, remember when Hashlips was coming out with his art generator?
Yeah.
I think actually I did a pull request, or I looked over some of the code review for the original when Hashlips was doing that. I remember talking with him more than once, being in that Discord. But like bringing that kind of stuff back, 100%, I would be so down to see more of the dev community really embrace DevRel and to interact with the rest of the community, because we're here to teach, because like we can't just build for ourselves. The reason I became a dev after I left the military was I was building things and I got email.
Thank you for your service.
Thanks for your taxes. I bought beer with it. Yeah. So when I left and I was getting emails like, oh, thank you for building this application. And I saw that it made a difference in people's lives every day. That moment when someone picks up a piece of tech and they have that aha moment, that's why I build. And I build more for engineers now because the space is so lacking for that. But no, if if you wanted to just learn how to launch a shitcoin, we can walk through the process of this is the pieces that go into a coin. This is how you write it safely. And this is, these are my suggestions for how we deploy it. But I would love to go through the steps and bridge that gap. Where do you see the biggest knowledge gap being between what you quote on everyone else in the devs? Right? Because like even the things you've talked about so far, there have been things I was like, I straight up don't know what you're talking about. Tell me about it.
I think for me, I think where I see some of the biggest disconnects is where people want to be able to understand JSON. And
Okay.
and so we have some cool projects like Join Fire and Wallet Guard,
Yeah.
which turn into plain code,
Mhm.
what verbalize what is going in and what is going out. And
Okay.
so we see JSON files that people are signing signatures, and MetaMask doesn't clarify what that is, and we're having to use third-party apps to explain what is happening in that transaction.
Okay.
And so like what was really funny, I love Wallet Guard. I know the team, they're really cool, but I got called. I was having a boba issue.
Were you really?
Oh my god, I fucking hate boba.
Oh no, I had boba once and I choked on it and I'm like, all right, I'm done.
No, the chain.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the drink.
I love boba drinks. Don't hate on boba. Oh man. But no. And I was getting RPC errors and stuff like that, and I couldn't find a single dev document, anything to tell me what that error meant. And
Oh dear, you're getting into like one of my favorite topics, documentation. Oh,
dude, documentation. But what was really hilarious was I went into the boba chat,
Mhm.
and I was like, devs, do something. Actually, I was like, hey, like, can someone tell me or point me in the direction of what this error is?
well, wait,
How do I
was the experience good when you were able to go in that Discord? Were they nice? Were they rude? Like
so it's sort of almost semi-abandoned.
Oh, okay.
There's still a lot of people building on it, and there's some cool stuff in the works. But what was really hilarious was a scammer called me on Telegram.
No.
Yeah, and they were from the Boba admin policy team, and I was like,
okay.
it was very official, and I was like,
yes.
Indeed. Thank you, sir. And right away I knew what it was.
Yeah.
And so then I went live on stream right away.
Of course you did.
And
Gotta get that content.
Oh, dude, it was great. And so I was like, I would like, wait, I have to do this. Okay, well, I have to put you on pause because I'm on Telegram and I got to go to my MetaMask and they're like, no, do this, do that. And so I was, they sent me to one of the sites that I actually know of that, is a drain wallet and stuff like that. And it was really hilarious, but none of it tells you what it's actually doing.
Right.
And, I tried to get Wallet Guard on stream with me at the same time. He was busy. And so, but then when he saw the video, he was like, oh my God, that was the best. And so then I was like, hey, my Wallet Guard's popping up and saying not to push this button, not to approve this. And he's like, oh, don't worry. That is this. And he just like made up some really random thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my goodness. And I was like, and then I was like, I just can't do this anymore, man. Like, how long have you been doing this? How much are you making? Like, what is it like? And I forget. One of the things I forget with like scammers is monthly income $5. They make $50 in a day they will spend and grind to do who knows what it will pay off for them. And so it, like, you think of these things, like people put in this time and this effort because they want like the misinformation or lack of information and how to understand it. Taking dev speak and making it into layman terms, taking it to that 100,000 foot, this is what this is doing.
Yeah.
And that's one of the hardest things to where we can talk about EIPs all day. What does that really mean? What is an Ethereum improvement proposal, and how does that account abstraction interact with me? Does ETH go up? What does this do? And so a lot of people are looking at it as just the financial side. And this everyone asks me this, and I ask everyone else this. It's one of those stupid worst questions ever. But where I see the difference between like Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, Web 4, and if you talk to like the Ava Labs senior engineers, they'll say,
I worked on a Web 5 project.
They say Web 4, 5, and 6. You're like, oh my God,
I worked on a Web 5 project that was partially funded by Night Media.
Okay. So then I'm going to have you define that. So for me, I say Web 1 is write or read. Web 2 is read, what write. And Web 3 is read, write, own.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you say 4, 5, and 6 is? Or in what would be your Web 1, Web 2, Web 3?
Well, Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3 can be traced pretty coherently to kind of the generations we had with HTTP, the early 90s, all the way through the 2000s, the boom with data, with Web 2, and the revolution that Facebook really came out with, which was React, and blowing away what was in the DOM and creating it. And Honeypot has a really, really great documentary on YouTube on the history of React and how it was built. But when it comes to Web 4, Web 5, I'll let you in on a little secret. Us devs make that up so that we can keep our jobs. So we can abstract the next thing.
You've heard it here first.
Stop
fallacies.
No, the creation of buzzwords sometimes does keep us in the job, but when it comes to the distinction between those, you also hit on documentation and talking about community and learning. One of the biggest things that we can take from Web 2, and I'm going to shout out Rachel Lee Neighbors and Dan Abramov and the core React team. They are amazing. Rachel Lee Neighbors and the work they have done to make documentation and React understandable it's almost a meme at this point as a web developer, is that React is the gold standard for documentation. And that I think this comes back to when it comes between us and everyone else, is we need to think of blockchain as a public good. And when I release something like my CLI tool, right, the DAC CLI tool that we're working on with MetaMask, that is a public good.
Command line interface.
Yes. But that is a public good, which means if you go to my docs website, the first thing you're going to see is new way to start Web3 project, and then you're going to see the inspiration behind it. You're going to see a 1,000-yard overview of why we're doing this, the philosophy behind it, and then all the way down through this is how you run it, and you can run it as a layman on your own machine, all the way down to, okay, now you want to make changes to these templates. Here is my logic through why I wrote the code in this way, and if you want to add your own templates to it, I advise that you add it in this way, and you can use it to do that. So that's the big thing that I think we're missing, is when we start to characterize things and we define them as a public good and an open source project, we're defining a level of standard and care that has to be given, and it has to be given consideration that other people, other engineers and laymen are going to be walking into this and addressing it and trying to learn from it. When I'm defining the definitions between Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3, I really see Web 2, the pinnacle of Web 2 being React and that kind of documentation and the care and consideration that these open source projects really have towards the wider community and being welcoming and being teachable moments. And I think that Web 3 will start to reach maturity when we see the level of developer experience reach something like Vercel, and we see that the care that we're taking as developers and the community working together to foster that understanding.
Okay. This is deep stuff here. These are conversations I love because I love to pull them apart. Because I take them more as learning experiences for me.
Oh yeah, I learn way more from failure than I ever do from success. So like, if people want to go to, I launched Thursday. So like, if people want to go tear apart my open source DAX project, or even the docs, which is beta.dax.so, go on there. It's open source. You can rip on it. You can tear it apart. Because I will learn 10 times more from failure than I ever will from success. And you can walk through those docs and really see the mentality and care that we're trying to put towards these projects. And I think that more communities are hopefully going to take our lead.
So we have a speaker with us, Musk Gold,
Yes,
aka Starman, and has a question, I think, for us.
does he?
Yeah.
I was happening permissionless. So why is there no utility in the NFT market? And how do we actually get people to create some real value that then we can create some wide adoption? Right? Most of the NFTs that you see have zero utility or use case. How do we do it?
So I want to answer that first because I feel that that's a no-code solution on the largest utility, community. Community is the largest utility that everyone forgets about of NFTs. And the idea, we look at it, let's look at sports teams and mascots. Everyone wearing a jersey, you're like, oh man, he's wearing a red jersey. I'm wearing a blue jersy. That dude. But then you go punch him, you drink, and then your team loses or wins, and then at the end of the day, you go share a beer with that dude or something like along those lines. Not everyone's like me and plays rugby, so we don't always smash everyone, but I think we can take NFT communities and look at them in a Web 2 aspect. That's the greatest value. The greatest value is them as a whole. Now, ownership of a team, look at like the Green Bay Packers. That is a community held team. As we see like Big Three in basketball, that is a community. Those are community held teams or project held teams. We see huge advancements. Whether we're talking IP, but it's the community that brings value, or it is the creator that brings value. Like we look at Gary Vee.
Okay.
Some of the worst, best, whatever art you want. What's really hilarious, when it was trading at less than an ETH, everyone said it was horrible. Then when it was like 6 ETH and higher, everyone's like, that art is fire.
There you go.
But I think community for me might be that answer of the biggest utility already in place for NFTs. What about you?
I 100% agree with your mentality on that. And I again bring it back to being a developer and first principles, which is that I need to create value at my level. If I can't create tools that allow you to do the things that entrepreneurs, that creators need to do to create that value, then I'm not being a successful developer if I'm not giving you those tools. So I don't necessarily think that it's just the developers that should be having this answer. I don't think I should give you the answer. I think that I should give you the tools to go find that answer for yourself. And that's the whole point of creation. That's the whole point of being in a creative endeavor.
I don't know, Muskold, what do you think to that?
So I agree the ecosystem is important. The ecosystem we have pretty dope. It's like market cap. It's because of everybody there.
Now, I think to create real wide adoption, to get mom and pop, we have to find a way to create real world use cases. So how do we combo it?
So how do we create real teams? I'm trying to reiterate what you're saying. So create real teams and real opportunities for people to do that kind of creative thing. Is that kind of what you're going at?
Real world use case. So
Real
then
world
you
use
get
cases.
more adoption from mom and pop who don't understand it.
Okay. Real world use cases. That's again something that we can look back to past to define for us. What was the real world use case of having an Amazon.com? Nobody saw the value of, until they realized they could buy books, and then they realized they wanted more products. I think that we've gotten a good start in replicating, old technologies within blockchain. And I think that gradual adoption and making people comfortable and safe with the blockchain is going to be one of those big first steps into is one of the big first steps that we've overcome in major adoption. And seeing artists and these communities embrace it is really cool and really important. I think that it's going to take business leaders to really identify that, right? Because again, just because I build something doesn't mean the market wants it. And I think it's going to be up to our business leaders to find out what the market wants, as much as it's going to be, just like all industry, it's driven by creatives, the business, finance, and the builders. So I think without all four elements, we're not going to see that kind of adoption or utility being generated.
Well, and I think, like at the mom and pop level and stuff like that, or not necessarily the mom and pop level, but the user level, at some time they don't even have to know that they're on blockchain. I think one of the outside of dev speak, I think one of the hardest things that sort of make Web3 people elitist is our lexicon.
Yeah.
What other community, and I repeat this over and over again, what other community do you know that says fiat?
Fiat car company.
Okay, yeah, all right, sure. You got me there. But we use that, and we almost use it as like a slur, though.
You can. You can. I don't think I really have. I think it's interesting. The most I've ever used the term fiat in these kind of conversations is comparing the historical highs and lows, Cambodia gold standard. One of the biggest ones that I've seen that I like to talk about when I say the word fiat is actually the environmental impact of quote unquote fiat currency when someone tries to compare fiat with Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is the environmental impact. You realize that anything that's backed by a physical standard has to be moved around any country. So you still have carbon emissions when you have a quote unquote fiat currency. But that's the kind of conversation in which I'll use the term fiat. But again, I don't try to exclude anyone or try to use elitist terminology when it comes to that. I try to focus on what matters to me, which is building an inclusive environment.
Yeah, and I think too the other aspect of that too, though, is people don't even need to know that they're on blockchain.
Right.
And one of the biggest examples I use, I don't know the total number. I could probably ask Dustin, but Tokyo Railway Line.
Yes.
One of the largest railway transportation hubs in Japan, and for a 45-day.
Can we just applaud the Japanese for their public transit? Because yes.
Yeah. But for 45 days, they made people's accounts that they have on their apps. They turned it into an abstract wallet on a star network. Yeah, a star network. And all the tickets that people got were NFTs. No one knew that. No one needed to know that.
Right.
But they saw the huge reduction in fake ticket uses and stuff like that. And so it was really, really interesting. I would love to see the rest of that turn out, but that's something that they tried, and we if we see more adoption like that, we're seeing new settlement layers and stuff like that.
So then is the question, are we getting in our own way with our own savviness, with our own desire to try and push this on everybody? Why can't we have quiet adoption? I mean, that worked quite well for big data. Was quiet adoption, was quietly selling private user data. And that's kind of a nefarious example to give. But if people don't need to know and they're confident in the technology and the companies that are putting out these technologies, and we have authorities in the space that can do that can partner with these pre-existing technologies, then I don't see anything wrong in that kind of quiet rollout.
No. Musk, what about you? Starman?
Yo, what's up, guys? So here's what I think is interesting. I agree with you, Taco. It's about the lexicon and it's about the language we're using. How do we educate the masses so they understand really the beauty of blockchain technology? Because that is what I think we really are all about. It's about the transparency, the efficiency. It's about creating a different structure than currently exists. I think that's why we're all really in this. The intent of our heart is to really help people see that we can bring not only value to this middle class who doesn't understand this yet, but needs this. And also we can create a new class of tech educated, savvy enough to at least understand what Bitcoin and Ethereum are and do. That's my take.
I think one of the things there, though, is we're trying to say, though, sometimes that we want to make something so beautiful that it's going to make people flock to us. But then, Dax, you said something really good. You used, big data, which can be considered nefarious, or it could be like this powered all of this. Just like everyone tries to make petrochemicals like the horrible evil, but then, they're saying they're tweeting about that on their petrochemical created cell phone and their car and their and everything, but.
Well, I don't disagree with his point necessarily, but I don't disagree. So my point still stands, but I'm also not saying that we're going to restrict access to that information. I absolutely think that space should continue to grow and encourage people to come and learn. And I want to create the space to teach, but if we're creating trust, I don't think big data needed to go out and tell everybody, hey, we're collecting your data and we're going to explain exactly how federated AI works so that your data is not really leaving the device, but we're still training models on it so that we can sell it to advertisers. But in a way, your data still never technically leaves your phone. And that's really confusing to explain, right? Because you're using federated AI. That is a whole other concept. But if they had come out and tried to sell that as their business model, I think a lot of people would have been way more confused. And I feel like maybe we're just, vomiting all over, word salad all over people all the time. And I think, again, creating coherent curriculum and onboarding ways into this community is really important. I absolutely do not think that we should curtail or, restrict the flow of information in any way. But I also don't, we don't have to shout it from rooftops in a way that's off-putting.
I think the CTO of Casper Network, Meta, she said something really that sort of struck home with me. You know, because everyone's like the next billion users into Web3, and her solution, she's like, I don't want a billion users, I want 3 clients.
Yeah.
You know, and she's
I bet
like,
I can get to those 3 clients.
yeah, and you know, what I'm just going to name one of them. You know, Cisco.
Yeah.
So if they're providing blockchain at the infrastructure level, then they're already there. They have 600 million users. So they just brought 600 million people on chain without them even having to know. There's about 3 million, or not 3 million now. It feels like that. 3 years ago, I was at a cigar lounge in Denver. COVID restrictions were just starting to ease up slightly. You know, because I had proof of my vaccine, I could go into cigar lounge and stuff. And I met this regular there who he's like, you always talk about blockchain. I have this question. You know, he works for a cheese company, and he was like, we just got notification from one of our companies we distribute to in Egypt that they're now going to send us their invoices and data on blockchain. And I was like, yay! And so I don't know. I think with the idea of data, someone was very combative in their questions to me when I was trying to explain blockchain, because they were like, why is this important? Why? And sometimes it's hard to get into those conversations because they're literally just wanting to argue for argument's sake and everything like that, you know. And well, why would I want to own everything of my assets and just sell everything? I'm like, well, it's being done. You just don't get any of the profits out of it. You don't get any ownership out of it, you know. And then it was like, well, other people should pay for healthcare. And I'm like, yeah, but what happened if you owned your healthcare data and you still sold it? You know, it was still sold, but you profited from that into like a weird wallet that was only like an HMO and paid for your medical services. And they're like, well, we should pay with it for taxes. I'm like, well, why would we have to use taxes instead of data? And I'm just like, there's some of those arguments that I haven't learned solutions to those, you know.
That's why we're here. We're gonna try and
figure that out, you know. And I think have you heard of do you know Spotty Wi-Fi?
Spotty Wi-Fi. It sounds really familiar.
So he's a musician and stuff like that. Amazing guy. His wife, Spotty Wifey, Dr. Michelle, she is amazing. She's a gyno, and she sees the idea of a decentralization for healthcare, healthcare records specifically being a huge boon, and working to prove it to insurance companies because they're the hugest roadblock and stuff like that. But when we're talking on a dev layer, there's just so many antiquated solutions that just haven't broken yet.
Yeah.
And so they're still used, and no one. It's like Cobalt, you know, and like, you know, on the financial district side, I forget the programming language for medical record stuff. I forget
that's a whole.
But
that's a whole can of worms.
Yeah, and so there's an idea that, you know, blockchain, you know, it be encrypted, but then at the same time, does it meet HIPAA and everything like that?
Oh yeah. Then you have privacy concerns, and HIPAA's gnarly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things to where what's next? You know, like we have these ideas, but if we have these Web2 companies that are like, no, we own this, how do we incentivize them?
How do we incentivize big data to give up their data? I mean, one, we make it too expensive for them to hold on to it, whether that is through the liability that is incurred by holding that much user data. Whether you decide, all right, we're going to vote for the federal government to incur penalties on that kind of data, or we're going to decide to have the market, you know, make it too expensive for them. There are any number of ways you could apply that kind of downward pressure on them. But objectively, at the end of the day, regardless of which way you try to push it out of them, you have to make it more profitable for them to give up that data, them to hold on to it. And I don't have that answer. I wish I did,
Yeah.
but I don't have that answer. I don't think anyone in the space has quite necessarily nailed that answer either.
Yeah. I know, like Tolly said today, or in the last week with Solana becoming for Visa and stuff like that, partnering with Visa, they want to give the security of more transactions, but they want to make it cheaper than Visa's own network, but that user experience still above par, and so provide it cheaper and better as the incentive model, and finding that balance of how to produce those solutions to Web2 companies, I think might be one of the hardest things. I think devs play an important role. I think hackathons, some of the coolest things come out of hackathons. I remember last year at ECC, general general public use of AI was just starting to make its rounds and stuff like that. But there was the big question about ownership of the art that was used to train that then created and stuff like
And
that.
Steam had that whole thing too. Did you hear about that?
With the game AI stuff?
Yes, Steam has disallowed any games that have been used, any assets that are created with the assistance of AI. They have outlawed, or they are not going to allow any games on their platform that have AI-generated content because of the questions around licensing and which artists and who actually owns the rights and intents to that. And until we sort that out, Steam and Valve have taken the initiative to say, no, we're just going to lose out on that profit because we're not going to be party to the lawsuits and we're not going to be party to the theft of intellectual material like that.
Musk, Gold, what do you guys think on that? I need some water. AI use in art.
So here's my take on AI. I think it's a tool. So Starman, like a lot of people know, was in the entertainment industry. And I think it's just another tool that we can use. And if we see it as a tool, then we can find the right way to take that tool to leverage our own tech capability, our own ecosystems. So I don't have any fear of AI. I think AI is a tech that's here no matter what, and it's not going away. So we might as well figure out a way to live with AI and leverage it the best we can with the coolest, most unique use cases. Once again, I'm going back to it. Because AI can do that. In fact, there was someone here at Permissionless who created an AI, this dude Trevor, I won't give his last name, but where he basically could do all these hackathon activities with AI that he's created. And he created it, so he should be able to do that.
I would agree with that. Where AIs are created and the environments that they're pulling tokens from, I think, so where this came from, this conversation started from ECC last year. There was a project of kids that they were building an on-chain platform that people could put images that they created onto, and then the AI only pulled from those images, and it gave recognition on chain of what images it pulled from. So one, it needs more training data, but now we're seeing, to do anything, I don't know what they did with it. If that was back in the day when hackathons just gave money to winners and like projects junked out. Yeah. I really love the fact that people are giving milestone awards now to complete things. But like the miss out. That like Steam Valve is on AI generated content. We said that 2 years ago when Steam said that they weren't going to have any Web3 games on, and now they've changed that rule as well. Musk, do you think that AI based code creation really will change the future, or will it be dev tools in conjunction with AI that do it?
So who you're talking to, creating templates, I think, can be used by devs and open source, which I think is really dope.
that can change the way I think a lot of cryptocurrency projects actually engage with the blockchain and the data they use to help build it. So we all know that it's space. It's, I've been 2016. I don't talk to the time. I'm surprised we barely met, but now we're brothers. When you think about the devs we're going to build this with, first off, I think we got to be a founder because we need them at the table when we're making all these decisions. And in my opinion, a lot of these projects don't have that founder at the table. And that's a mistake. With AI, we didn't really have a great foundation to build the protocol.
Dax, what do you think on that?
I agree. I think that, like you said, well, going back to your Steam, that they rolled back on the Web3 thing. I think they're waiting on the legality of it to be sorted out. And once they find a path forward, absolutely, Steam and Valve are going to go head first into it and utilize these tools. I absolutely agree that AI is a very, very, very powerful tool. That being said, that either way, we have to be careful about the training data we feed it. And we have to be careful, just as powerful as a tool for good, it can be a powerful tool for bad. But also, it can be an unintentional tool of harm. Early on, facial recognition, they didn't realize, because unintentionally, they just trained it with a lot of white faces. And AI had a real problem with distinguishing anyone who basically wasn't white. It is very, very low and accurate. And those are the kinds of things and safeguards that we still haven't mastered when it comes to sanitizing and analyzing the data that we're using to train these models. So I think that question also needs to be solved as we're moving forward and we're being cognizant of integrating all these tools across the board. And we're founding new companies, founding new chains, founding new technologies with these, that the underlying things it's being trained with are, fundamentally as fair and as balanced as we can make them, that we're approaching it scientifically and with a good heart and with a good intent.
I think one of the coolest AI things I met these two kids, and they launched their AI on Friday, and I met them on Monday. This was about a month and a half, 2 months ago. Fin GPT.
Why does it sound so familiar?
They basically it's prediction models and everything like that is providing better data than crypto Bloomberg terminals.
Really?
Yeah. And so when I got their GitHub Monday, they launched their GitHub on Friday, and then when I already had over 1,500 forks, and it had over 8,000 stars on it already. And Brandenburg was already starting to use it, and like we see AI coming into so many different things. And one of the things, maybe I don't know, I just learned this theme thing from you now, which I know a lot of projects have used AI to storyboard to then create better creatures and like to get a general idea and stuff like that. So is it using AI art as the final product or any part of it? Do you know?
I believe it was any part of it, because even fractional ownership, as we talk about fractional ownership, there can be fractional pieces that the AI picks apart. And we haven't even fully sorted out, is AI art under fair use? If the training data is a bunch of copyrighted material, but it's being recombined in a unique way, even though it's by an automated system, does that fall under fair use? Is there commentary? So we haven't even sorted out that legal question yet, let alone, whether or not, the AI has significantly pulled out, a whole asset, a whole character, or what else. Plus, I think there's the ambiguity around, just identifying whether or not we can identify if something was AI generated, but identifying the component pieces and whether or not they're copyrighted is another quagmire in and of itself that Steam, I believe, is still trying to sort through.
So I know one of the things within OpenAI and stuff like that, they basically, to figure out how like ChatGPT gets to an answer, they have to submit questions to it. They can't actually see that pathway that it took because they built that within a black box so that it could be free to do what it needed to do. And so like that's where we've heard about more about drift lately and delusions and hallucinations and stuff like that. We even see
Confidently incorrect.
Yeah, confidently. And I'm like, wait, that's how I live my life.
Oh yes. Oh yes. That's
Same with a bold statement.
I mean, all developers are confidently incorrect until the compiler tells them you're incorrect.
But we're starting to see it be used by people with maybe not the full understanding or too much trust. Like we saw the attorneys in New York.
Oh yeah.
That used AI and it made a false case statements for them. I don't know, Musk. Are you Starman? Do you see any AI drift and hallucination in what you're doing? And how do you think? Because everyone sort of says Web3, like for mass adoption, has to go to both porn and gamers. So do you see AI making an impact in that?
So, what's interesting is you guys have heard of Wombo 3. This app basically can put in your response, whatever, in seconds. It gives you 4 different options and 30 different styles in seconds. So how does a graphic designer compete with that? So what I can tell you is a lot of memes or the different art, sometimes created with Muscle or other projects like Universe 369. You're using because it's a and I don't think there's anything wrong with it because that's the purpose of art. All art is kind of an imitation of art. And so that's the tricky part. Like, with Dallas, we don't even know it's going to be 10 years from now. Now, did Wombo 3 set it up? So when I was on there, he creates all his assets. Those 500 assets are theirs. Or 10 years from now, that's what we were talking earlier. Are you going to be sued because that was your debt, because that was on his website? So I don't know. And I'm going to use it until someone tells me I can't.
Well, I have an interesting one because you mentioned porn and gamers. If you look up Ludwig, he's got a channel. He's got his Mogul Mail. I think it was actually almost a year ago now. There was a case of a famous streamer accidentally leaking one of his tabs, and it was AI-generated porn of a female streamer, of a coworker. Not going to name names. Don't want to get back into that drama, but it's already happened. Somebody used the AI available public images of live streamers and their public image to generate porn of them. And they were not happy about it. They were very much not happy about it. Because literally their coworkers, their colleagues in the streaming space were watching commissioned AI generated porn of them.
Yeah. No, it's just it's weird that those are our 2 entry points to adoption. Mass adoption,
Betamax, yeah,
definitely. Or who remember Laserdisc?
Yeah, Laserdisc Blu-ray.
No, older, the big record side, Laserdisc.
He's young.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Jessica Rabbit. Oh man, yeah, no, there's just so much cool stuff. And there's just too much out there for any one person to know. Me, I always say, if anyone says that they're a master, expert on blockchain, take everything they say with a grain of salt and put them in the corner.
Yeah, no, I am not smart. I just show up for the work. That's all it is. All you're hearing is someone who shows up for the work. I'm dumb. I joined the military as an enlisted person, so dumber than a box of rocks over here.
Grunt man. but you're also a nuclear physicist.
I was an ETN, electronics technician nuclear. That's a naval rate for enlisted personnel.
Taco, I've been here permissionless all these guys are dumb. No, I'm kidding. Really, they all act like they're They all know they're wicked smart. Let's be honest. That's why we're in space, because we can disrupt shit. We really can watch it. But we gotta make choices. And that's what I'm saying.
use case, you gotta see solutions so Wall Street come on board.
Because then we go
Because we go
10%
10% of
the world on the
digital
digital assets
assets to 50%.
Well, I think today one of the things I learned was Bitcoin was just given or recently was assigned fair market value so that it can be classified as a valuable asset. And so that's one of the people always wonder when will prices go up? When we run out of sellers, when people quit selling. But if companies are able to classify Bitcoin as a fair market value asset, they're not going to sell it anymore. They're going to accumulate, and then they're going to take loans out on it because they're going to hold it. And we'll see that, what will be next. Right now we have fighting, BTC and ETH ETFs, coming out. Hey, I don't think Larry Fink would put anything out that he didn't think was going to get approved. And, it's the fact that there's, I think now 7 Bitcoin ETFs in the process. And we just had Grayscale, they had their denial sent back to the SEC to look over it because there's the Bitcoin ETF and then there's Bitcoin futures. Bitcoin futures was approved because it's a Chicago Mercantile Exchange item. So and so there's the reason the SEC had denied Grayscales was because they claimed that there wasn't enough fair market share and observational piece to watch for market manipulation. Yet the derivatives futures there is, and so you would think if there's an underlying asset that is approved and it being considered a commodity on mercantile exchange, that the security side of it would also then get approved. And so it's been sent back to the drawing board. I think there's some interesting things out of there. Musk, I'm going to go to you in just a second, but Dax, what do you think?
There's tons of interesting things that's going on in the regulatory space all of the time. I'm just sitting back and chuckling a little bit because I'm going, as this standardization and this adoption happens within the federal scope and with the recognition by the government, because that's how it has to happen. We can't, as much as we'd like to believe, we're Web3, we're blockchain, we're going to kick the old system, we can't do it without the adoption of government regulation. And I'm sitting back going, in 5 years, 10 years, when it will happen. Inevitably it will. We've already created these vehicles for smart contracts, for everything else. Like, we're going to bring back mortgage-backed securities and all these really interesting, shady things that traditional finance did by packaging these unique financial products. We can now do that with code. And we can do that on scale, en masse, with code and create all new financial vehicles, both for good and for bad. So I see that, the cycle is going to repeat itself. But I think we've learned those lessons, and I think that by getting out ahead of it and talking about it like this, hopefully we have, use your powers for good more than bad, and we won't see the creation of as many negative financial products.
Yeah, Musk.
So fintech, man, I think in the blockchain space, and if you look at where the funding is going, a lot is going to fintech. And if you see what happened with PayPal, and then you see what JP Morgan announced today, the banks are all in, which means even though Buffett said as he hates Bitcoin, he's in. They're all in. Let's be honest. They think that they can do this like smoke and mirrors game, but we know better. You do the opposite of what Buffett says, because that's what he's really going to do down the line, because all these guys focus on game theory and their best, potential return on an investment, right? So my question actually for you guys, though, is about the Bitcoin ordinals. What do you guys think about projects on Bitcoin, and do you think it will ever reach the Ethereum level? Because I think that's a huge piece of this conversation as well.
So for me,
and walk me through a little bit more of what's going on in the Bitcoin, because like I said, I'm Ethereum all day long.
Yeah, so there's a couple different things, and just for my history on Bitcoin, I got into blockchain. I dived into blockchain because, like you sort of said, if more people are doing good, then And that's a mathematical formula came out that it doesn't matter how many bad guys there are and how strong they are, and it doesn't matter how many good guys there are and how weak they are, as long as there's +1. And and this was even in the days of Ethereum being proof of work, that it really sort of, there was a mathematical formula that showcased that it's better to do good than anything else, and that everyone will benefit from it. Some of the stuff within ordinals and what we're seeing is some of the ties to EVM and bridging between Ethereum and Bitcoin starting to come out, even including, we've had projects like Loopring, Avalanche, and we have like Keychain, Libre and stuff like that, and now we're having ordinals. And for me personally, with BRC20s and ordinals, until Bitcoin core team sort of approve that BRC20s, because they literally this supposedly immutable thing can be erased with a bug fix.
Yeah, that's always been the case.
Yeah. And considering that it's considered a bug fix, it is one of those things to where I don't know. Right now everyone's searching for rare sats and stuff like that, and we're seeing some really cool stuff on it, but they're pointers. They're just pointers to IPFS,
Yeah.
And I think until we start seeing more things built within Bitcoin, and people would think, but at the same time, I think that there's an argument. Do we really want to rock the boat with Bitcoin? If Bitcoin is this fundamental thing, and this new wave of people can come along and say, oh, we can make this better, does it change the core of Bitcoin to where it is no longer that solid rock? If you deviate so much, is it still the original code? Is it still good?
I mean, that's Thebius's ship. That's the old, the Greek myth. It was a thought experiment by a Greek philosopher, Thebius's ship. And it was, you have a ship, and if over the years you're replacing each plank of wood as it gets damaged and replaced, 50 or 100 years down the line, you've replaced all the pieces of wood. Is it the same ship? It's been doing the same thing. It's been going to new places. Maybe it's been doing different things, but is it still doing the fundamental thing of carrying passengers from point A to point B? And if that's the case, then I think what we're seeing is not maybe a change, but the evolution of a technology. And things always change. I don't think it's going to be a bad thing. I don't think that, Bitcoin is going to be here, or Ethereum is going to be here in the same form 5-10 years down the line. But I'm not upset about that. I'm not sad about that. And I'm not also worried about that.
Starman, what do you think?
So the reason I mentioned the Bitcoin ordinals is because if you think about all of these exchanges, right? Bitcoin is where they have most of their market value. Okay, whether it's the CEXs or it's like the big dogs like Coinbase and so forth or Robinhood. So if you can do a fintech project that then connects to JP Morgan or builds on PayPal or one of these, Web 2 more standard corporate tech, but with Bitcoin, I think then once again from a marketing and branding standpoint, you're doing something super unique and creating a use case with Bitcoin, which I think could transform the way the planet sees it. So I see the pluses and the negatives. Yet if someone had a super win-win for our community, I'm for it. And if it happens on Bitcoin Ordinal, then all the more merry.
Yeah, no, I think there's some really cool. I'm going to touch on that just in a second. I just want to do a quick reset. We've been going for an hour and 40 minutes tonight so far. We are live at Permissionless Hackathon, Hack for Good. Talking to some amazing builders. We've literally just turned one seat over and that's how awesome it is. We're here in Austin, Texas, for the next 5 days. And I just want to do a quick shout out to everyone on Twitter. Thank you to our 2 YouTube channels. Thank you for joining us. To those on Twitch, thank you. To those on Telegram and Discord, love you guys and gals and people in between. And then to everyone on LinkedIn, Unlonely, and Xenon, huge shout outs. And right now we are talking with Dax, open source contributor, contractor for MetaMask, and we're talking with Starman from Musk Gold. And we've just talked with the D-Bands gentlemen and Alpha, and we're just getting some cool stuff here. We're talking across the board from DAGs to AI to quantum, and now we're getting more into like almost the ethics and the morality of code. So here's a hard question to a dev, especially open source, Tornado Cash, and everyone, and code sort of being labeled as criminal act. There was for a while what everyone sort of thought was that code was free speech, and now that devs are being put into prison for it. What are your thoughts on that?
So I'm going to take off any representation I have right now. I'm not up to date on Tornado Cash in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to speak from my heart on what code is and what it has always been. And I'm just going to give a preference here that I'm going to make an analogy. I think that code is a tool. At the end of the day, it is a tool, and it is what you do with it. We have never made it illegal to write viruses. We've never made it illegal to write malware. We've absolutely made it illegal to distribute that. Heck, even the US government has made it illegal to export certain kinds of code to foreign countries because they're state secrets or they are trade secrets that are valuable to the trade of the US government or to the function of the US economy. So just like the export of
even concepts of core code, not even the code itself, but the concepts.
Correct.
Yeah.
Just like guided missile technology and nuclear technologies, we don't export that information. That being said, the act of creating code has always been a creative endeavor and almost an artistic endeavor, in my opinion. I don't think that we can label any code as good or bad. We can absolutely say that what a code does when it runs can be malicious, and what it's meant to be doing is malicious. But it always has inherent value as a research tool, as a teaching tool, as a learning tool. And I think that just like a tool, it can be a weapon. And we export, and we absolutely restrict the export of weapons. And I 100% agree with that when it comes to code. But just like here in America, you can go and mill a weapon out of an 80%, lower, and that is completely legal in this country. And I would like to say that it's the same thing. You cannot restrict the creativity of a population. You just can't. And I think that code in and of itself is an inherently creative process. And I don't think it's good or bad. I absolutely think that people can be labeled good or bad. I think intents can be labeled good or bad, and that people who break the law or intend to do harm to our community, to our country, to our economy, not ours, but the human economy and the human equity, then yes, then we're going to have the courts come in and everybody should have their day in court. But just like the act of writing, I agree. I think it should be a protected free speech activity. But whether or not that code leaves your computer, that's going to be on you. Am I about to publish something? Because there's also responsible disclosures, CVEs, and bug fixes and hacks. Security practitioners have to follow strict regulations and laws about how they disclose a security vulnerability, whether or not they discover it in an enterprise or in a government system.
Both on 0-day attacks.
Yep.
And the right to disclose almost at a level of how the vulnerability exploit, how dangerous it is. Is it a simple thing? Do you just go publish it? I don't know if you remember the Nomad bridge hack last year.
I think so, yeah.
it was such a easy exploit that it was a YouTube video copy and paste. You know, it was one of those things to where it was a broadcast within the contract, open broadcast. And, you know, I think, will we see a point to where environments are created, virtual environments are created that will recognize malicious code and not allow it to be fully functionized?
Yeah, we already do that. Kaspersky, Kaspersky is the one that comes off the top of my head because I love reading them. And the Cyberwire Daily Defense podcast and all of their sponsors, when they come out, it's a great little security briefing to listen to every day about what's going on in the global world, because they touch cyber warfare and all those other pieces. But they sell tools. All of their sponsors, if you listen to Cyberwire, Cyberwire Daily, and Cyber Warfare, every single one of their sponsors creates a virtualized system that allows it to run in a sandbox to see what it actually does. That's how security software works nowadays. And having that kind of sandbox environment with blockchain tools is, I think, inherently one of the next steps in security that we're going to see.
But so no, what I'm saying is that we get to a point to where base systems, the virtual environments that things are created in, will not allow malicious things to be built in them. Not to test to see if it is malicious. Obviously, that needs to be done to see. You know, we see that done. Norton and every other viral malware system does test environments to say, hey, this shouldn't run, or this does this. Do you want this port access? Do you want that?
But you're saying almost more like my VS Code, the thing that I write code in, is going to tell me you can't write that code that's malicious?
Yes. Or is that too big brother?
I'm processing and formulating a response, because this is a new question to me. Because on the one hand, I'll just walk you through my thought process. On the one hand, you don't let high school kids run around the chemistry class unattended. We don't allow, the U.S. government tracks when you buy ingredients for drugs from, sellers and what have you. And so I can see that being a comparison or an argument. That being said, at the end of the day, the only thing you're going to harm writing bad code on your machine is, at worst, you're going to completely brick your machine and have to do a fresh install and wipe. Moving farther from that, if you're going to write something intentionally malicious like a worm or a virus, then you're clearly practiced and knowledgeable. And then I would argue that rises you to the level of mental competence needed to stand trial for knowingly unleashing that on somebody. So I think it comes back to, no, you're at that point, if you're able to write something that malicious that you're going to deploy it, then you're legally responsible for it. I don't see why we would ever have to create restrictions with our development software in what we're doing.
Yeah, because I guess the question on that is the creation of malicious content. Why would someone go about to make it? And obviously the idea is to figure out ways to defend against it. But then some things get to such a malicious level, so like if we're talking real world application stuff outside of code, we're like looking at, I'm looking at like, I'm not even going to say the college. I'm bioweapon deep research. We see and read about this lab just made COVID, transmissible by mosquitoes, and it kills 40% faster. Why would we go about doing that? But we see the same thing with code. At what point does the Ethereum network allow stuff like that or censor it? We see programmable money with USDT, USDC. Everyone wanted to point out PayPal with having their stable dollar having both a freeze and wipe. USDC already had that. No one, USDT has that. We see other tokens with that. No one really complains, but because it was PayPal, one, they wanted to complain about what version of Solidity it was in. And they had that in a chamber for a while. They were just waiting for the right moment, and they had a version that worked, and they didn't need any new bells and whistles in it.
Right.
And so, but at the level of where stuff becomes malicious, when will on-chain analytics get to the level to where it can recognize it and stop it before it happens?
I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but Blockscope showed me some killer demos today. And Blockscope, a lot of their technology is open and out there. Their analytics is out there, but they have the ability to pretty much read what's going on in the blockchain and annotate what each ABI and instance of the contract, like what it is calling, and you can track it through what's actually happening in live interactions on the blockchain. I think them turning around and licensing that software to a company that wants to create those flags and those indicators and license it, like the technology exists. I saw it demoed today, and if you want to turn around and they want to turn around and license it to a company that wants to go and build those safeguards into the Ethereum chain, or if Ethereum wants to approach them directly, they're not the only company that can do that or does do that. And I think that it's existed for a while. And I think, again, it comes back to the level of competency. If you, like you were saying with like the lab, well, they can do that in a lab because they're competent enough virologists and doctors to build that, but also to build it in a lab, hopefully with proper safety precautions. So I say it comes back to intent and competence. And if we have that level of trust in Ethereum, then we have that level that Ethereum and the people running it are at that level of competence, and that we have faith in our underlying technology.
I think one of the things that, to play devil advocate to it, is the level of censorship.
Okay.
If we're starting to censor bad stuff, when does that overstep and just start to censor stuff someone just doesn't like? And I think that might be the fear of that too, but on-chain analytics and giving red flags, and tagging things right away within block explorers. I think block explorers, can be a little bit more user-friendly. I love Etherscan. We have the CEO of Etherscan here at Permissionless. I forget his name right now, and I have an interview with him, so I feel horrible, right? But it is like almost 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And so, but I don't know. Starman, what do you have thoughts on this?
You want to water?
Yeah, so this is where I think AI comes in, because I think you can't take away the free will of a dev. And you're going to have devs that are going to be malicious. You're going to have software. You're going to have protocol that becomes malicious. So you got to give the opportunity to see where you can take the ecosystem. And if you look at like the World War military games, right? It's one of the greatest game theory exercises that exists. And what they're able to find out is how countries will react based on what happens when they're approached or what have you, right? So I think the same thing is probably going to happen in blockchain, because blockchain is so raw, so new comparatively to other technology that exists. So we're going to see stuff like that. And I think the community of blockchain who really believe in it, or the evangelists like I believe I am, will be able to have, like you said, more good intent, more good people, more good purpose than bad purpose. And that's, I guess, where we have to put our hope, because I don't think you can stop someone from being malicious. Definitely not in open source, and I don't even think you could probably do it on most chains. I could be wrong, but I don't think you can.
Okay. That is a. It comes back into that. Should it be done? Can it be? Can it be done? Yes. Should it be done? At what level does it become censorship? But you put out a really good example that the creation of code, malicious code, is not illegal. The writing is not illegal. The exportation of it, the dissemination of it is. And so does that then make miners and validators and nodes and responsible for that?
So I would argue that it comes back to big tech. If they have we decided that big tech has the First Amendment right to decide what goes on their platform and what doesn't. I think that if the miners want to take on that responsibility of allowing anything to go on their blocks, then that's their decision. That being said, we again have that problem of censorship. I think that it's more prudent to do it after things get on the block, and that we flag them as harmful or not and create protections around them, but we don't stop necessarily the quote unquote posting of them. Because of
Does it make them culpable?
I would have to say you'd have to ask a lawyer for that, and that's yeah, like that's going to be a legal decision. Like that's literally going to have to be a Supreme Court decision. It will be. You know, it'll have to be a Supreme Court decision. But that being said, I kind of want to take the kind of new direction with this is. If that happens, just because something is illegal, does that mean that it is immoral? Just like how decentralization brought all these advances in journalism and exporting news from countries and places like that, if we suddenly decide that, you know, we don't like a specific piece of technology for whatever reason, and we alienate the creators of those pieces of technology, I don't know, for some crazy example, DAOs, and we just suddenly decide that DAOs are bad and illegal, you know, and we decide to censor those. Now DAOs are illegal, but is it morally right to still publish?
DAOs as on-chain voting DAOs or DAOs as a legal structure?
I just meant the concept of DAO, or let's not even say. Let's say that
on-chain governance.
No, let's just say that we collectively decide that pictures of monkeys as NFTs should be illegal. That should just blatantly be illegal. Good.
What about sloths?
You know, right. But what I'm saying is, but is there anything inherently wrong in that?
Is that all monkeys or just chimps? What about orangutans?
Yes, exactly.
No, I'm just bringing a little offside humor to it because you touch on a really good point. That who dictates that,
exactly.
And then who says, you know what, I'm okay with that. Is it an out of country node? And then I hate to ask this, but does that make the United States, the way that they've been taking things so far with Web3, as a loser in tech? As I've sort of seen almost like what I would want to say like a brain drain, or even, you know, missed opportunities.
Oh, no, we've absolutely missed out on opportunities. America and some other countries, Greece especially, with the crash of their economy, underwent a massive brain drain. And
didn't Greece ban like ChatGPT too because of like copyright? They used copyright infringement and stuff like that as the reason, but it was tech that they couldn't understand quickly enough because it's like AI is moving at such a pace that.
Well, I got a story for you.
I love stories.
I can actually probably pull it up. I absolutely love Cloudflare. For anyone out there who's not a developer or whatever, Cloudflare is an awesome company, and they put out their quarterly report on internet outages globally, worldwide, and the causes of them. Some for hurricanes, some for other things. Did you know in the Middle East, during their statewide test exams, they shut off the internet so students couldn't use ChatGPT and AI tools? They cut off external internet usage in Algeria, Iran. I don't want to misquote on this, but
well, as far as I know, web crypto is illegal in Algeria.
Really?
Yes. I don't, and this is knowledge that I had as of October last year, so it might have changed. But I knew a company that was doing Web3 stuff in Algeria, and they're like, yeah, no, we have the banks on us, we have the state government on us, and we have the mafia on us as well.
Really?
Yeah.
The mafia. Oh.
The Algerian mob, because they were providing services to families of cross-borderless payments, and they were taking money from the mob.
Here we go. Q2 2023 outage report. Iraq caused an outage because of their Ministry of Education to impose a shutdown during the exams as part of efforts to prevent cheating. Those were eventually stopped because of protests. Internet traffic trends. Algeria, 2023 marks the 6th year that Algeria disrupted internet connectivity to prevent cheating during nationwide exams. So these countries are taking extreme measures when it comes to AI and cheating and all that kind of stuff. And we're seeing a really unique approach, which is turning off the internet.
Do you feel that, there was a recent story, trying to slander Elon Musk or, throw him under the bus by CNN saying that he disabled Starlink during one of Ukraine's offensive movements. And in reality, what Elon responded back was, no, I was asked by the government to turn it on. It just hadn't been activated yet. And so, do you, as a dev, I think I know your answer, but do you feel that the internet is becoming a basic human right?
Yes. Access to information is a universal right, especially as a hacker. Yeah. Information and the freedom of information is a basic and fundamental human right. And that's one of the big things that I love about Web3 is that the decentralization of the internet culture, and moving into a new DNS system and a new routing protocol can be really, really important at that level. Because I don't know if you know this, but the U.S. government can turn off the internet. Between U.S., Australia, and one other country, they hold the DNS keys. There's 7 people in the world that hold the primary DNS keys. If they decide to set a reset, they can turn off all down-channel DNS, and the internet just off. Mm-hmm. No IP will know where another IP address is, and DNS will stop resolving, and that's it. And they can just turn it off. I think moving to a Web3 infrastructure and a decentralized infrastructure is the best way to do it. And this is going to sound crazy, but Tor had a great model for that. I mean, it's terrible. Latency is terrible. There's clearly privacy concerns. It doesn't work as much anymore, but
isn't there Onion Twitter? It was something. Twitter had a Tor model too, didn't it?
I don't know if Twitter did. I know that there was something similar to Mastodon that was running. But I love Mastodon and their federated approach. That's always been a really cool thing. An interest of mine is what Mastodon did. It's really cool that it's an open source project.
And we saw Threads is looking to be part of the federation as well. Within that, for any sharing, and so there's Threads was alive for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I think I haven't posted on Threads.
Oh yeah, I didn't even sign up for Threads or anything like that. I signed up for Blue Sky. Okay. Absolutely, I love Blue Sky. It's very cool. It's interesting to see the social primitives on Blue Sky, in that a lot of the friends that you get early on are from the invites that you get, rather than any kind of recommendation, which they're now instituting the recommendation engine. But I think it's really cool because we're seeing back more like the social networks that we had with MySpace, right, which was direct friend interactions and direct friend invites, and that's how Blue Sky was originally being set up, and that's how its initial users were organizing themselves socially.
Yeah, no, and the fact that Jack was pushing that in the way it did, I feel that
Jack's a cool being.
Yeah, I think one of the cool things about any new social media platform is a fresh algo. And it's really interesting what I see and what I get and stuff like that. For me, like my I hate my LinkedIn algo.
We all do. God, LinkedIn, get your shit together.
Yeah. Or everyone should just go to Entra. It's the on-chain version of LinkedIn, but it's built on DeSo.
DeSo. Okay.
Decentralized social. Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, I think Entra might be doing an event around permissionless. I'm not sure, but they're based. They have some cool stuff here in Austin as well. But yeah, no, there's just so many different. I run 17 social media platforms.
Too many.
Too many. My biggest complaint for MetaMask is I need one wallet to rule them all. And
MetaMask would love to be that for you. So get rid of all the other chains, just keep it on Ethereum. You know, let's make it easy on the devs and MetaMask, and you know, like just let them build.
Well, you know, if we're looking at that, we're seeing, you know, for me, different chains for different things. My heart really rolled out in Polkadot. You know,
Okay.
I love what Gavin built there. For me, the idea of substrate, especially when I explain Polkadot to people.
Go for it.
Substrate. Oh, I haven't told this analogy in a moment. So right now we look at all the different chains in my mind as trees. All right.
Sure.
We got forks, branches, ecosystems, bugs, communities, everything living on trees. But these trees and root systems are separated. Like I say, they're on sand dunes. All right.
Okay.
And different trees, you can see them, but data can't transfer back and forth between them. And so we rely on bridges, aka, you know, in this analogy, dune buggies, you know, and you know, and so dune buggies transferring data back and forth, you know, but dune buggies can run out of gas, can have engine malfunctions, can get hijacked by pirates, you know, all sorts of crazy things. But then we have substrate, you know, and we use that terminology of earth, you know, material, matter. What is the largest living organism on Earth?
Blue whale. Oh, probably single-celled organisms and like the networks that they create.
Mycelium on the largest aspen grove, connecting all the roots. So that communication is huge. So if we look at different chains and different parachains as trees and substrate, you know, Polkadot provides that layer zero of all those different ecosystems connected and talking to each other at the mycelium level, the true layer zero almost. And the idea behind it is that it's all protected at this one chain level. And so the authority and governance level of it, and that a chain can be made in 15 minutes. You know, Gavin did this amazing demonstration where for showmanship, he pulled out a brand new MacBook, you know, installed Node.js, and then pulled down a substrate frame, and boom, in 15 minutes live, he built a chain.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That is legit.
And so I think that as we see that layer of communication breakdown, you know, I don't think there should be one chain to rule them all.
Right.
You know, and for me, you know, I've always had, you know, a heart, you know, affinity group between, you know, Trust Wallet and MetaMask and stuff like that. And like I know the BD team and the engineering team at Trust. You know, I know a lot of MetaMask institutional folks, and what I see like a team of 300 plus in MetaMask versus a team of 30 in Trust. And at a comparable level, they're using, you know, different algorithms to create with one seed phrase the different chain access, public and private keys needed via one seed phrase and stuff like that. And so, like everything from like Polkadot, you know, using I want to say the Ilgian curve, if I remember right, or something like the Eckenberger curve or something like that. Where, you know, and then we see, you know, Solana, we see IOKey, you know, HIC, and then, you know, we're seeing new chains build out. And heck, we even see, you know, new EVM chains like Venom building out, you know, and stuff like that. So at what point do you think with the new, you know, I just want to do a quick shout out to Star-Lord. And I'm calling him Star-Lord right now because I have Guardians of the Galaxy playing in my head right now.
Right, yeah.
And so great talking with Musk Gold, and you know, cool project there.
Absolutely.
You know.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, yeah, man. I gotta get some sleep, bro. You're a machine, Taco. Get Max, young buck, so he can go all night too.
Oh no.
Don't get him taking you down the street drinking, bro, and stuff, because you're gonna not be able to wake up tomorrow, bro.
Oh, don't
you
worry.
You guys are awesome, bro. I'll see you guys around.
Starman.
Bye. Keep doing the Lord's work, Taco.
Have you heard the good word of blockchain?
We need it. We need
For the Lord and
evangelism.
Savior Satoshi.
Yes. So I'm gonna go talk to some of the other groups
Yeah,
and
go
stuff.
for it.
Dax, you've been amazing. Words of wisdom and final thoughts.
Go out there and build shit. Go build shit. You will learn way more from failure than you ever will from success. And we all fall flat in our face. And every single one of these devs here, regardless of if you're starting out or you're a senior veteran, you're going to fall right flat on your face. And we're going to be here to pick you up and be like, look, you messed up right here. Let's fix this. And we're going to get excited about finding the shit that we're going to fix. And yeah, keep building. That's my only advice. Just keep building.
All right. Do you think ZK has the future?
ZK?
Yeah.
ZKPs?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love ZKPs. I'm excited for it. Like I said, I want to go full in on Rust EVM development.
All right. Nice. My two suggestions are check out Railgun
Railgun?
and the Railway app.
Yeah, I think I have it on my bookmarks.
Yeah, amazing team. Some of the coolest stuff where they take it at a mathematical level, proof of non illicit funds.
Right.
You know, and so I think that's some of the coolest things there.
Builders here, the hackathon guys, they want to talk to you.
Yeah. Are they
Yeah.
here?
So yeah. But Dax, thank you so much for tonight, and keep building. If there's anything we can do, if there is one thing that anything that listens to this later on, one, where can they find you online on Twitter?
Yeah, you can find me daxdev.eth on Twitter. My handle is @HaydenTaylor on Twitter, like Taylor without the T. Or just go to my project, beta.dax.so. The GitHub is there. My Twitter is linked there. Even my email's there. If you want to reach out with questions, comments, concern, or tell me I'm full of shit, I am all around, ready to hear it.
All right, awesome. And then, you know, if there's anything anyone could help you with, what's one thing that you could use support on?
Just building my career. So I love the value and how kind everyone here is at this event and the community as a whole. I want to thank them for that. The one big thing is definitely this MetaMask project. Going to that website and throwing a GitHub star up or seeing something that you want implemented as boilerplate code. I want everybody's input because I want to build the best thing possible.
For one more time, nice and clear, what is your GitHub?
DAX911, DAX911.
All right, yeah, so please hit that up and go give a big old star. Go fork.
Yeah.
You know, that also shows some good love, and have some fun. You have a great day, and keep building, Dax.
Absolutely.
And we have some other people coming up, and
From Builder,
Yeah.
bro.
Absolutely.
all right.
Jump in there. You want to
Nice.
talk to? They're running the hackathon.
We got 404 in the house.
No, this is BiddleBox.
Oh, Fiddlebox.
Do you mind if I set up my camera as well?
Go right ahead. Go
Oh,
right
let's get
ahead.
it. Uh,
Fiddlebox, I got to tell you something right off the bat. You cost me $99 today
why?
because to move forward in my hackathon application piece, I had to go and buy Discord Nitro so I could add another server to my Discord to move forward.
Man, you should have hit up support. I'm sorry about that.
It's one of those things. Like I, you know, have a hard time, and you know, I was on the road, and I was.
That's actually a new feature. I apologize to the Discord community for this issue. Anywho, so, but
All right.
back to your.
So, what is your name?
My name is Annalisa. I am with product marketing at BiddleBox.io. We are the platform provider for the Permissionless 2 Hackathon.
Hack for Good.
Hack for good, baby.
Nice. So,
Warren!
how long have you been with BiddleBox, and how long have you been with Web3?
Okay, so actually, I've BiddleBox came from the Gitcoin hackathon team, and I started with how long have I been with BiddleBox or Gitcoin?
So you started March 2021, right?
Yes,
No, 2022.
2022.
Yeah.
Oh, cheers. Oh, it's gonna be a good night.
Oh, it's going to be a great night. We have
He said he had to buy Discord Nitro in order to be part of our server.
It cost me $99 today.
No way.
Yeah.
Why did you have?
Well, because Discord, if you don't have Nitro, it limits you to 100 servers. If you have Discord Nitro, it limits you to 200 servers.
You know what?
And
That doesn't sound like our problem.
You could quit one of your old servers.
I did. Well, I tried to, but I had 154 servers, and so I left like 14.
How many people are on this live right now?
I realized, just a
I see one.
handful. Yeah, but we're streaming. So you guys know we're streaming to 8 sources right now. We're live video on Twitter, 2 YouTube channels, Twitch, Discord, Telegram, LinkedIn, Xenon, and which is Lens, and then my Unlonely fam. Unlonely.
OnlyFans?
No, Unlonely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We're 2 on-chain video sources.
Okay, well, I apologize to all these sources that this is the Austin After Hours BiddleBox team, but
explicit.
We had a couple drinks, but on behalf of BiddleBox and Kevin Owaki, you can just blame that man.
Affiliated at all.
He's no longer affiliated, but we're good.
No, yeah, we're good. We're good. Yeah. How do you connect all those sources? So I'm interested. That's awesome.
Tell us about your technology.
Yeah.
StreamYard.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah.
All right.
That next time. Next
will.
Twitter Spaces.
Thank you.
Annie hosts Twitter Spaces
I do.
every Thursday.
Every Thursday, Biddle and Chill.
So
do you want a hat?
I would love a hat.
Okay, let me get that. Ask him some questions.
I run a daily show. We're on TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen. This is episode 387. Yes, 387.
That's awesome.
So as I like to say, I am the worst show you've never heard about because I am daily. I'm consistently inconsistent.
That's fucking dope.
But daily.
That is the.
This is so dope to be here at the hackathon doing this shit.
No, yeah, I love that. So do you travel around to all the conferences and do
just a few of them?
I see that now. Okay, so
just a few.
Can I show my camera?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so which conference is your favorite one? Like every year.
Okay, so that's
recurring one.
That is a very loaded question.
It is,
and people ask that, and I always answer the same exact way.
Are you biased? Are you sponsored by anyone?
No.
No.
My company, 0x Degens.
Okay.
So, but I do come on to a lot of projects, sometimes events for different projects.
Yeah.
Because I'm a consulting firm. But at the same time, I work for Dex. I do contract work for Hacken and Surtech, and then I Nomad BD for Banksa. And so it's just one of those things to where I've been in blockchain for.
Which one is speaking to you?
Oh my god!
Are you a Biddle Chill or are you a Biddle Scrub kind of guy? The jeans.
Oh man! Wait, let's see the back.
Show it to the camera.
They both have our logo on it.
I'm gonna go with the salmon colored one. Yeah.
So, all right, we got a matching shirt for you too.
Woohoo! I love swag, and this will go into the swag report.
Oh my god! So Annie's the designer actually of the swag.
I do.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's great.
Can you grab a what's your shirt size?
Large. I look good in it.
We finna get you a size large shirt.
Which color? Do you want it in the salmon as well? Or
Yes.
We have a green one.
We have a teal
Salmon.
one.
Salmon. No.
Salmon. Yeah.
Get them both.
Salmon.
Yeah, he's doing.
Yeah, get him too. Salmon and
And what is your name?
I'm Morton.
Morton.
Yeah.
And what do you do at BiddleBox?
That's my boss.
Yeah, I do management.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you guys right now, I think I saw like 6 or 7 different live hackathons, both virtual and in person. How long has BiddleBox been around?
So we started August last year developing the platform. Previously, before that, we are the former Gitcoin hackathons team.
Yeah.
So we used to run Gitcoin hackathons, me and Annie.
Shit, how many hackathons did we do with Gitcoin?
We've had over 150 hackathons.
Nice.
Yeah, we
Good
distributed
cross between in person and virtual.
Yeah.
It was like
In-person virtual.
Algorand. It was like we had Ethereum based ones. We had Metis.
Yeah. We've had a lot of major players.
ton of fucking ecosystems.
That's the thing. Like when we were at Gitcoin, we were kind of locked into kind of one tunnel vision for the platform. With BiddleBox, what we've developed is like a self-serve platform. So we are not like excluding anyone. Anyone can come use BiddleBox and host a hackathon, which is beautiful, right? So even if like you are, I saw your Hex hat, right?
Mhm.
If you're from Hex ecosystem, you can come host a hackathon. We don't fucking care. Like we have a platform, it's self-serve. You go on there, you create your organization by buying a hackathon package.
Okay.
You deploy your hackathon.
How much does that hackathon package cost?
So we have paper and diamond. So paper hands and diamond hands, right?
How much does the paper hands cost?
Paper hands is 1,500.
How much does diamond hand cost?
Diamond hands is 15K. So the difference between them is that the diamond hands, the diamond package gives you the opportunity to have co-sponsors. So like permissionless, for example, Blockworks comes to us, hosts a diamond hackathon. That means they can bring on co-sponsors and they can make this their own business model, right? So the co-sponsors come to permissionless and permissionless can charge them whatever they want, right? So if they pay 15K for the hackathon, they can charge 5K per co-sponsor to get, right? So they go in plus, they can make profits of hosting a hackathon. We just want the biddlers to be able to get content and to be able to like make awesome software and yeah.
I think the first time I was introduced, you guys participated with ETH Denver this year, if I remember.
Yes.
We hosted ETH Denver on the platform, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. You know, nice. Heck
Yeah, it's a trial by fire. The product was in MVP. We had like 1,000 participants, 1,400.
Man,
130 sponsors.
we were building while the hackathon was happening.
Yeah. So another issue that I have with BiddleBox.
Yeah, go on.
BiddleBox does not recognize my name. It does not allow me to put numbers in there or dots. So
dots doesn't work, but
so I had to write. No, I had to write out player one taco.
Okay, I need to check into that regex, but I'm pretty sure
We can fix that right now.
Yeah,
Monty's awake.
No, James, come here.
Yeah.
He's getting your merch right now, so you can choose. Do you want your username or do you want your merch?
We can do both.
All right. That is what's awesome about it.
No, but that's fine.
Let's get it done and let's fix it now.
We are very agile. Like as I mentioned, like we started developing this platform August last year. Fuck it, it's so complex. Like we have so many levels to the logic on it. It's amazing, and I don't think the builders they experience one side of the platform, right? And then you have the sponsors that experience the other side of the platform, actually organizing the hackathon. You can do everything from one dashboard. If you're an organizer, you have the full control of the hackathon. If you're a sponsor, you have certain permission levels to change your challenges, change your workshops, etc. But as the organizer, you're always the one that's gatekeeping them, saying like, I accept your challenge, I reject your challenge, right? Which is pretty so it's pretty like the logic in it is very deep.
3 largest.
It's pretty cool.
That took
And it's
away
a lot of thank you for like
Okay, well, I'm
Thanks
just
for
gonna
this
show it to your podcast.
Nice.
We got the
Yeah.
teal,
All right.
and then
Salmon.
I will
Yeah.
give credit where it's due. So, Pizza Dow, don't give me a cease and desist because I know y'all copy this too. But
We love Pizza Dow. We
But it was-
do.
yeah.
Shout out to Snacks.
Snacks
Cheers,
is
man.
amazing. You know,
love
and
the art.
just so you guys all know, if you're ever going to any Pizza Dow event, Cowabunga is the secret code word.
Always.
Always Cowabunga.
Never knew that.
I'll see you there, guys.
I
Yeah.
knew.
Now you know.
Yes. So yeah, I've been with Gitcoin and Web3 since February of last year.
So in that time, you said 180 hackathons?
No, so since 2017, when Kevin Milwaukee spun out the Bounties platform in his basement in Denver, we've hosted 140 hackathons on Gitcoin, and then we took it further on BiddleBox. So,
I point a lot of people to Gitcoin,
Mhm.
especially in the Gitcoin's grant section and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, they're
Or
yeah.
especially for what I like to say, disenfranchised voices and individuals so that they can get to events and learn. And there's just Gitcoin provides, I think, a really necessary point. But one of the things that I see really not used proportionately would be like the Gitcoin passports. Passport,
Yeah.
you know, and stuff like that. Like me, I think I'm stuck at like 32 points.
Mhm.
You know, now
So
it
I
wants,
got 27 points from that.
it wants me to like connect like my ID, my Coinbase,
Yeah.
all these random things. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'll say this, that's what I'm excited about this hackathon though, is because like they have a specific challenge for different use cases or different stamps for the Gitcoin passport. And I'm really excited to see it developed, and I want to see it developed on BiddleBox as well.
Yeah.
I think I missed out on the Gitcoin stamp you guys will issue.
So just to get that out there, we're not affiliated with Gitcoin at all. We used to do Gitcoin hackathons. We have spun out a separate company, and that company has now rebranded. So we're not affiliated at all, but
They're the homies,
we
though.
still love Gitcoin, of course, yes. And Gitcoin is sponsoring the permissionless hackathon. They have a couple of challenges, or maybe 3 challenges. I can't remember. Two,
$5,000 each.
Yeah.
Gitcoin and then Allo Protocol challenges.
Yeah. And
or passport in Allo Protocol.
Okay. Yeah. So I think the beauty of the Gitcoin passport is like it's so workable by all. Like everyone can try to implement some kind of new attestation that they want to like put on there, which is the beauty of it, because the Web3 space is ever evolving, right? So we have all these new dApps and everything always turning up, and some of them might need some kind of a verification system for people to enter them, right? And as you said, you had 32 points of on the of the trust score. And we've
prove I'm human.
Exactly. And, you know, we're like Gitcoin has struggled a lot with the Sybil attackers, of course, because of the like that's how the system works with the quadratic funding and everything. So you'll always have that problem. But I think Gitcoin Passport is a great way of trying to minimize that and limit Sybil attackers.
Okay.
It's pretty cool in all systems, not only Gitcoin.
Yeah. So as we see different Sybil attack methods, you know, or solutions, I guess you could say, come up, like, you know, one of the biggest ones that has made its way for the last year and a half, almost 2 years now, WorldCoin. Do you guys see integration of the orb? You know, I remember when it was purple.
So again, we're not affiliated with Gitcoin.
I know you're not. I know you're not.
If WorldCoin wants to throw a hackathon on a BiddleBox, like holler at us, baby.
Hell yeah.
But we no comment.
Okay, so let's move on. And this is a question for each of you. I want you to answer this separately.
All right, I got this.
What is
my thoughts are my own.
No, yeah.
What is the coolest build that you have seen?
Okay, me first. So I loved a project called Swappy. So you can check that out on app.biddlebox.io/project/Swappy.
And can you spell that out?
SWAPPY. They made an awesome integration with ChatGPT where you just you type out what you want to do. So if you want to say that you have AVAX tokens on the AVAX network and you want to trade them for ETH and you want to bridge them to the Ethereum mainnet, right? You just type that out, and the app recognizes what you want to do. It brings up the different widgets that you need to do that, and you can swap directly in their interface, right? And do the bridging and everything. It's fucking sick. Yeah. Just like UX cool. Projects are cool.
Yeah. MarginFi came out with something like that as well. They have that integrated too on Solana and stuff. What about for you? Coolest thing you've seen?
Okay, well, I have 3 projects that I would like to show.
Show it out.
The third one is actually going to be the one that you're part of. Yeah. Okay, but the first 2, I'm not gonna. No, the region score is very fucking tight. But okay, I'm not gonna go into detail on these ones, but it's Fun Public Goods, Luciano, the homie, Meta Dragverse. I think they're built on Decentraland, and they actually won something at ETH Denver or a previous hackathon, but they are very focused on bringing drag culture into Web3, and I think that's fucking dope. And then third, is regen score. Can you tell us what regen score is, sir?
Yeah. So region score is. Have you ever heard about Degen score?
Yes.
So it's the opposite.
Something about I might have a Degen Cafe score somewhere.
Exactly, right. So Degen score in the early days, it allowed you into like this dex, right? If you had a high enough Degen score.
Yep, I know that
And
dex.
to get a Degen score, you had to prove your on-chain degeneracy, basically.
Yep.
How many rug pulls you've been through, how many trades you've done, risky swaps, right? How many shit coins you've been into.
What's the worst slippage you had too, as well as one of the scoring
Yeah,
methods?
exactly.
Yeah.
So we made region score at ETH New York last year. Me and a bud from Gitcoin.
At ETH Global, New York, last year.
Yes.
I was there.
So yeah. So we for once I participated in hackathon, which was fun. And we made region score, and region score is like the region version of region score. So it checks for your on-chain regenerative crypto actions, right? How many times you donate to Gitcoin grants, right? How many
$1.
$1 helps a lot, right? That's for the magic product funding.
I needed that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit, I probably donated all but like $10 this round, but like it's still
Yeah, it adds up, right?
yeah.
And then like if you hold like World of Women, the NFT, right? The social, the for good NFTs, that gives you a certain region score, which again, like what we hope is to integrate with region communities, like that is gateway into them, right? It's a stamp of approval for dApps that, okay, you're stamped with a region stamp, and people that visit your dApp might get a better region score for using it, right? So yeah.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Someone tried to steal their code, but anyways, we're coming for you guys.
So,
But it
we're
is
friends
true.
now. We're friends.
Oh,
now.
okay, you guys
Yeah,
figured it
yeah.
out.
We
But
are-
it happened.
Yeah.
All right. So this has been the coolest apps you've seen. What is the coolest builds you've seen? What is the craziest, weirdest, wildest? What the heck were you thinking?
You have to give me a moment.
I don't know. I can only highlight the goods.
So I'll set the stage for this.
Yeah,
one.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So the original version of
Friend Tech is fucking wild to me.
Hey, buy my key. Buy
my key.
Buy my. I don't know how many keys I own. I own a lot.
Friend Tech is actually very dystopian, but actually kind of tight.
I like it, and I'm waiting for Friendlend
I'm into
to
it.
come out. And
What is that?
It's going to be leveraging your keys, and you can either
Fuck
provide
yeah.
liquidity
God,
or you
yeah.
can borrow and leverage.
That is Degen score 100.
I feel like Friend Tech is just like the Web3 OnlyFans, and it makes you feel uncomfortable. But
Well, I guess it depends on what you post.
well, no, I don't post anything. I'm just be like, this is what I ate for dinner. This is what I donated in grants, and
I
what's
literally
good.
just give alpha and beta referral codes.
I just say GM.
I've never used it, so I'm out of that discussion.
So
It's cool.
one of the things, the weirdest thing, and this is a big Degenic thing. The project was originally called Twat or Not.
Uh-huh.
And
That's crazy.
Twat or not, or twat or not?
Twat or Not.
Okay.
You know, and so you saw it was almost like a
James,
flip coin.
I gotta go
Gambling.
to the bathroom.
You had to decide what it was or what it wasn't.
Yeah.
And then that was the bet. And so I then told them, and I had them, and they actually went back to the drawing board in their team and they rebuilt it. I was like, you're leaving out half the Degen community. And they're like, yeah, but women, I'm like,
Maybe they should
you
change
need
the
to have
name.
cocks.
Mm-hmm.
Twattercock is now their new cock.
It's giving incel.
That's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that is
And
pretty
so, yeah, so that's setting the mood.
cool. Okay.
And if it sets the wrong mood, I
You know what?
apologize.
No,
but
it's
there's-
fine.
that's
I
the
have a
craziest,
different kind of
coolest thing.
crazy though. So I met a team at ETH Denver. They were making like this moon mat CK proof system that they built, and they were afraid that the judges wouldn't understand the magic that they've built, so they hid it inside of like a slot game.
Okay.
Yeah, and the interface was a slot game, and it made it more understandable somehow.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, it's like 888 or something. I can't remember the name, but
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
All right. What is the craziest thing that you've seen, Bill?
I really can't think of it. Aside from friend tech is like the craziest thing that I'm like using or just like seeing in play.
Yeah. Do you remember? I don't know if you had started at that time, but at Gitcoin we made this internal project. What's called Gitcoin Dance Party, Dance.party.
No, I wasn't there at the time.
That's pretty cool. So what we did, it was a ladder type of game. So you had 2 ladders, and you had X amount of players on each side, right? And then you uploaded a video of you dancing, made it into a GIF.
Okay.
Or GIF. I don't know what you
GIF.
GIF. Yeah.
GIF.
I'm trying to.
What is that?
I'm trying to be American. I'm Norwegian, so.
Starman is always watching.
You already had the
Is this the
GIF
person?
saved?
Is this live?
That's cool.
Is that someone responding?
Can't see.
Yeah, we got Musk Gold with us tonight.
Hey
Oh
man,
shit! Oh, okay, yeah.
thank you for the correction. Did
Chill, it's all good.
he say GIF or GIF?
I said GIF.
But did he correct as GIF?
Jiffy, bro, Jiffy.
Yes, there you go.
So the creator,
I know,
he
says
says Jiffy, but I'm like, it's a G, it's a GIF, GIF. It's not Gitcoin.
Man, do you have any other questions? Like, where did you come from? Can you give us some? You got questions?
You had to remain silent.
All right, so outside of the hackathon and Hack for Good, what are some of the cool things that you have looking forward to at Permissionless?
Oh shoot, we haven't even thought that far. Like honestly, like this hackathon has been a lot of planning, a lot of work for us to execute well. Of course, we love the sponsors and everyone.
This has been the smoothest hackathon by far
It's so good.
I've experienced live.
Yeah, and Annie has a much larger part in it than I do. So, yeah.
We out here.
Congrats on nailing it. Yeah.
No, it's been very smooth. I really like it's like great vibes. The food has been like out of like all the builders that have participated in different hackathons, they are saying that the food at Permissionless hackathon has been the best food out of like Eat Denver. They were given Domino's pizza. And
Domino's pizza is fucking awesome though.
It's great.
I love Domino's.
I think
if you're a pescatarian,
if
you're a pescatarian,
but they had Tex-Mex,
the
poke bowls.
The best meal I think I've had at any hackathon was at Dev Connect ETH Global Hackathon in Amsterdam.
What they have there?
Like even the lunches came in like these custom wooden boxes and stuff.
Yeah,
and it was amazing.
Yeah,
it was just like
it was the brownies taco.
Fire. I feel like, but for anyone that's listening
that's
in the future,
Amsterdam though. There was like that's not brownies, my man.
That's good brownies.
That's good brownies.
I do not partake of those kind of brownies.
Are you sure? Because I got some.
No, I don't partake in any of that stuff.
No, that's
I don't do weed either.
I think that's 13. Will be 17 years.
Congrats,
for me.
man.
Congrats.
So
hell yeah.
Yeah. You know, me right now, my life is crypto, cigars, and caffeine.
Fuck yeah. You should put that on a t-shirt.
It might be.
Yeah. I was waiting for that answer.
But what I wanted to get
inscribed somewhere on something.
Oh, you have to too?
No, like on a Bitcoin.
That'd be fun. Yeah, make that shit an NFT. But what I want to get at is for those who are planning a hackathon ahead of time, is that you want to make sure that the food is on point, that the vibes are on point, that there's like the Wi-Fi is on point.
Yeah, and that you're using BiddleBox because like
that you are using BiddleBox.
We can provide the platform. You have the hack in the box. You have no spreadsheets, nothing. Everything is just like made in a one app for all the sponsors, all the builders.
And you got the cool ass BiddleBox team to help you
if you
throughout
want
the fucking hackathon. If you would like,
you can come boots on the ground, yeah. But you shouldn't like have to do that. It is a self-serve platform.
What else makes a great like in-person hackathon? Food has to be on point. I'm telling you. Aside from BiddleBox.
Parking.
That's a good point. Parking.
That's above us for permission.
I don't have
parking.
a car, so.
I drove here from New York.
Shit, that's smart though. I was waiting on New York on the tarmac for hours.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, both of them.
probably a better move.
He lost his
Yeah.
luggage.
They stole my luggage.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure because you had a ton of swag in it that
Right.
No,
No
just
swag.
Irish
My clothes.
clothing.
Just potatoes and cabbage.
Potatoes and cabbage and 2 t-shirts. Is
Um,
that not what you bring? When
there's
you
got to
go
be
in?
food. There's got to be great Wi-Fi. There's got to be they got bean bags downstairs. I feel like bean bags are very important. Monitors. They've got monitors here.
so has the winning monitors been given away yet from Blockworks?
You gotta
So
have
all the
Jack at
monitors that
404
are
Dow.
here are
Where's 404 Dow at?
rented out right now. Hey Jack, do you want to come
Jack!
join us?
Get up.
I heard that
come
there
on
was
over.
monitors being given away.
They are. I think if you tweet about them and stuff.
I
Yeah.
did. I did the.
Oh, you
the
did a
rules.
tweet?
I did
Yeah,
the tweets.
yeah.
I did multiple
You
tweets.
might get one.
I
They're not
even
rewarded
used
yet.
the image.
You need to wait for the hackathon to end because people are using one.
Okay.
Literally.
Live podcast. Live.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
Jack,
live.
come. Can you?
Where
come
are you
subs-
live too?
Yeah.
No, this
My
is
show is literally called TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen.
And
Yeah, take my spot. I gotta go to
you
bed.
can substitute me as well because I need to get my zins.
Go get your Zins.
Yeah, I'll be back though.
All right. So next up we have from 404 Dow, we have Jack.
Jack, that's me.
Jack, you live in Atlanta?
Hello, Harry, get over here.
Middlebox.io, baby.
All right.
Harry's joining too.
You're
Jack, good luck.
okay. We can go.
Or you
I might come back.
You're not coming back.
I'll catch you tomorrow morning.
So
You're crazy.
we got Jack from 404 Dow. Do you live in Atlanta?
I do. I do
All right.
live
So
in
let's
Atlanta.
get this. Man, this is we are far, far
Are we
away.
making this intimate? I love it.
It's Web3.
What is with all the lanyards? Talk me through this. Is this every conference you've ever been to?
No, just the last 18 months, I think now.
Do you ever take them off, or do they
Yeah.
just like always on your neck?
Always on, like Michael Phelps, Mr. T,
Yeah,
Mr. T, a blockchain. You know, I pity the fool who doesn't know about Web3.
there
No.
you go.
But no, proof of attendance, proof of work, proof of history,
There you go.
proof of authority. I don't know, that's questionable. Or resume.
There you go.
So,
Okay.
Jack, what do you do in Web3?
What do I do in Web3?
Or what do you like to do?
So I run a blockchain conference in Atlanta. I run a Web3 accelerator, and we also have a professional governance team. So we do governance for Arbitrum, DYDX, Optimism, and Uniswap. What do I like to do? Degen stuff, but we also do a lot of research. Sorry, I'm kind of low E right now. I'm a little different than those guys. Been on since no, I don't need any of that.
Okay.
I've been up since 7. My brain is kind of broken at the moment.
Totally
You'll have to
understandable.
bear with me.
I am bearing. I think this is like energy drink number 9.
Jeez. Okay. Is that the no caffeine one or the yes caffeine one?
Yes, caffeine.
Okay.
A bunch of Celsiuses, a bunch of Monsters, and
And some NOCO.
NOCO.
I've heard that NOCO is the Celsius of Norway, or
I don't know.
not Norway. Some Scandinavian country. I don't know which one.
I don't know.
Apparently, it's a
US.
great investment when they go public. I had a friend that bought Celsius shares.
Netherlands.
Not financial advice. I have a friend that bought Celsius shares at $45.
Mhm.
Now up to 180. 4x in like a year.
Nice. I remember when Celsius was just a powder being sold in GNC stores.
Really?
Yeah.
I bet you wished you bet the stock then.
No, I knew the company then before they went public.
Okay.
So
I didn't even know that's how they started.
yeah, no, they did a lot of cool stuff.
2 hours, 45 minutes. You're crazy, man. I love it.
Oh man, hey,
I love it.
I think one of my longest unbroken spaces is about
Are
9
we on,
hours.
is this Twitter Spaces or
So
where
this
are we?
is we're Twitter Space,
Okay.
and then we have video pushed to Twitter, 2 YouTube channels,
Okay.
Twitch, Telegram, Discord, LinkedIn,
Let's go.
Unlonely, and Xenon.
Okay. I've never even heard of the last 2.
They're both on chain.
Oh.
One's built on Lens, the other one's I think they're going to be going with either Base or Arbitrum.
That is awesome. What do you think about the whole decentralized social
landscape, or really idea, I suppose.
So are we talking about decentralized social media, like DeSo chain, or are we talking, what are we talking?
Yeah, decentralized social media, whether it's like,
I think
Mastodon or blockchain based, like Lens. I've actually never used Lens.
so. There's always that fight between like Farcaster and Lens and stuff like that. I use Warpcast. I use Yap. I use Lens through Favor. And they're basically Instagram but on chain. I know the Favor team, they're really cool guys. I think the aspect of owning what you create or what you publish, what you put out there, really sort of brings that a new novel idea. I think the idea of then allowing creators to earn from the content they create, rather than using any growth hack techniques for impressions and everything else, to share ad revenue. I think the idea of the more people like something,
more compensation they should get.
Yeah, and I think that should then help the
See, but the problem I have with at least the current circumstance of decentralized social media, the Lenses, the Farcasters, is the benefit of social media is the network effects of actually having people on there.
Mhm.
And there is not that now. So the question becomes, is it just that it's super early, that UX isn't there and it'll get way better? Like that's the solution? Or is there another platform that will come along that'll be a lot easier and a lot more widely adopted? Or is it just kind of a pipe dream that will never happen?
Well, then the other part of it too, I think, also is users. How many users represent, a good level of dissemination of information? And, do you want every single person in the whole wide world on your app? Do you think 10,000
There's
people?
critical mass. I mean, I wouldn't try to put a number on it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say they're anywhere near.
No, I
what it
agree
need
with
to
you.
be, right?
I think one of the cool things with a lot of them is the ones that are on chain. You don't actually have to be on chain to use them. You would benefit more from them if you were on chain, but it's not a barrier to entry. And I think the more that those get incentivized and marketed out, I think that would bring more people to them. If they're seeing the content that's being created there is more valuable, I think that might bring something there. But if we're talking like degenic things, I saw someone posting, like Friend Tech,
Have you used Ventec?
yes.
Okay. It was very confusing for me when I first got it. Like I got it pretty early, like before all the hype on Twitter and stuff, and I bought one of my friend's shares and I was like, okay, that's cool. I started messaging him in his chat. And he's like, say hello to so and so. Apparently there were other people in this chat, but they were messaging him and I was messaging him, but we couldn't see each other's messages, and I didn't think it was intuitive at all. That was actually pretty bad.
Yeah.
The idea is great. And that's why I was so confused, is like, if you're buying to get access to this community where I guess the figure whose coin you're buying is also a part of it, I feel like that's enough. Having this kind of like obfuscated one-way channel, or like two-way but one way for the other way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One was very fucking confusing to figure out for the end user,
Yeah.
and two, like, defeated half the purpose.
Yeah.
So
I think the idea behind that, and one, no, they didn't put out any documents. I got into it in day 1.5, I think.
Okay. Right, at the same time.
And it was like I started hearing about it in the morning, and then someone's like, I got into it that night, and I was like, all right, cool, blah blah. But the intuitive side of it, I think, is more that direct feeling, like, all right, cool. Only you can see what I say to you, but then the answer is open source, and so, it sort of sucks to not know, like someone gives like some, equational answer and you're like, wait, what was the question?
Yeah. It's
Like,
confusing.
and so I feel like when I'm writing things out or writing, I target my responses so that person knows I'm addressing them.
Sure.
And then sometimes if I'm giving a detailed answer, I'll even rephrase their question, so that the question is with the answer and stuff like that.
That at least is nice.
I really so far have just been giving out like beta codes and stuff like that to other platforms that I get invites to, or
Yeah.
I use like I give out my drip house codes there and stuff like that.
Okay.
So like if they get picked up, I put them there for like 24 hours. If they get picked up, they get picked up. If they don't, then I put them on Twitter for other people to use and stuff like that.
Nice.
So I don't know. The one thing I don't know is past history. Like, so if I go into a new chat, would I see all the past history chats or not? And so because the people that I bought, I haven't seen, they haven't done any chats, and so
We can test it right now.
heck yeah.
So we do it like on stream.
Yeah.
All right, but you gotta help me pick what we're gonna buy.
Player one taco. I mean, if you don't sell yourself.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And what I tell everyone, I'm like, people are like pump and dump. I'm like, no, sell it when you make profit. That's the idea, isn't it? And until it's no, as long as it's valuable to you, keep it.
Let's see if I have enough.
Spacey.
Yeah. Nope, I don't.
Oh,
Well, we tried, guys.
we tried. We tried. I do think that once they do get, I think one of the things that I think is really cool is Friendlend. I talked about it like twice tonight, but leveraging those keys and stuff like that, and able to provide liquidity to leverage them. I think that will be a fun thing. Really bring
It
the
will be
Degen
fun.
out.
That is something that I was talking about with what is the team name? It's those guys right over there. They're doing grants.tech is what they're building.
Okay.
Like a friend.tech type of app, but instead of it being speculating on social media accounts, you speculate on what grant is gonna go up or whatever. So at least you're providing some public funding for your gambling habits. It's honestly hilarious, but but the point of bringing it up is that crypto in general, like the meme culture, is just refreshing. Like it's not all corporate and annoying. Like people actually just have a ton of fun.
Yeah. One of the communities that's going to be coming, that they might already, some of them might already be here, but they're coming over the next couple of days. And I think Wednesday they have a protest. But Dogebunk.
That's the protest. Is Dogebunk?
No, Dogebunk is the token.
Okay.
They're doing like a make memes great again type of thing. But I met them last
What have
year.
memes not been great?
I think that they just want to bonk people on the head.
Oh, like
Bonk.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
With their hands, with like a
Bat.
oh, with a bat.
I don't know if it's going to be.
I'm sure. I'd be surprised if it was a bat.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if it was a bat.
I met them last year at South by Southwest and how they were disseminating themselves. They were giving out 1 million Dogebonk bills with a claim code on the back. And you could go claim it. And so they gave me like 40 of them. I was handing them out around the world. I think that stuff is fun. So let's go some Degen
Excuse
stuff.
me. Sorry.
It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. I've
So-
been up since 7.
Yeah. I think we
Didn't
woke
sleep
up at
much
8.
tonight. 4.
Yeah, we were late watching some show on something, I don't know, in a space, maybe. How many times have you fallen asleep in spaces?
On Twitter Spaces,
Yeah,
like when I was speaking or when I was listening.
either or.
I've never fallen asleep while speaking, which is good. I actually am much more of a podcast guy than a Twitter Space guy.
Okay,
So I fall asleep to a podcast every night.
all right.
I don't think I've ever fallen, maybe like once or twice.
Who do you listen to for podcasts?
I really like the NFL a lot. So I listen to a bunch of NFL podcasts. I listen to a few political podcasts. I listen to some business entrepreneurship stuff. I don't have any that I'm like always listening to, but I'll dabble around in different things depending on what is interesting. Very generic answer, I know.
Hey, no, it's individuality. It's what sort of humanizes people is what are your interests
What do you
outside
spend
of
your
Web3?
time doing?
Yeah, like
What are your interests outside of Web3? It sounds like Web3 is a big interest of yours, given the
yeah.
Yeah.
Crypto, cigars, and caffeine is my motto.
I love that.
And as I, for some reason I was thrown into that influencer category and I hate it. And I'm like, you're gonna get influenced by me. Prepared to get wrecked. You know.
Let me follow you on Twitter.
Well, yay!
New follower.
What is 404's Twitter account?
It is 404 DAO.
Okay.
No spaces, straight up 404 DAO.
Nice. And how long has 404 DAO been around?
So, let me follow you and I'll answer that question. Player one topic. Go. Followed by Frank. You a D-God guy?
Not anymore.
Not anymore? Are you own one? Check that out. Let's go.
Let's go.
Got my D-band on.
I got my D-band on.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Okay, so Forward House started last October. We filed for a 501(c). We're our nonprofit.
Okay.
So it started, we were all students of Georgia Tech, founders of the Georgia Tech Blockchain Club, kind of grew that to be a fairly well-known club. And then we were going to host a conference, and we wanted to have the IP of the conference kind of separate from the club entity, just so the school stuff wouldn't be a problem logistically or anything else. And so we hosted the conference in Atlanta, Web3 ATL, November 3rd through 5th. You guys should come through. And we had 500 people come the first year. We were all students. It's a completely student-run conference. We had 60 speakers. Sponsors were involved. But the main thing was that there was a ton of interest just from people in the area.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you'll know better than anyone. There's a ton of conferences here. There's conferences in Denver, New York, Utah, even Florida,
Arizona,
Miami, Arizona.
California.
None of those that we just mentioned are southeast, unless you count Miami, which I don't, because that's super far.
Tennessee, like
yes, there's some in Nashville. That's fair. Some in Nashville.
I think one of the coolest things to look for are Crypto Mondays.
Yeah. I feel like Crypto Mondays has kind of gone everywhere.
No, it's huge in New York. There's Crypto Monday this Monday here in Austin.
Yeah.
There's Crypto Monday, Dallas.
What do you mean a cool thing to look for?
So one of the things people always, they're like, how do you find events? How do you, and I tell people the two simplest things: Meetup and Eventbrite.
Sure.
And you can search the week that you're going to be somewhere, type in blockchain, and as long as it's not an online, thing, if it's search for in person, you might find a Crypto Monday. You might find some sort of Web3 get together.
Sure.
That find like-minded individuals wherever you're at. And it might be 2 or 3 people, but it's people keeping the torch alive. For something later. So I just think, so it's really cool to hear, because one of the things I love about it is I learn about so many more projects,
or more events
and everything.
Like Web3 ATL, November 3rd through 5th.
Yeah, Web3 ATL.
Are you gonna come?
November 3rd through the 5th.
Now you know about it, so now you have to go. You got to get another necklace.
I go where projects want me to go.
Yeah. So what do you do outside of influencing?
So I run 0x Degens. That's a Web3 strategic advisory company. Help with tokenomics, white papers, pitch decks, teaching projects how to pitch, introduction to VCs and VC DAOs, DAO formation, DAO ruling, tooling, and governance, legal structure within the Marshall Islands. I love my DAO. And then legal firms within the Cayman Islands with BVI offshoot, or Michael Turpin with Greece, or into the free zones in the UAE. And
are you a lawyer by trade?
No.
Okay.
I connect people to the people that are experts, so that way they get the right thing.
Business to be in.
It is, biz dev
Everyone
hyper
likes a connector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then community growth, social awareness, social media, brand awareness and marketing, and guerrilla marketing. And then I officially, I worked for the largest DEX in Polkadot, Stella Swap, on Moonbeam, first mainnet parachain of Polkadot, EVM. Then I do contract work for Hacken and Certec. And then I'm a
Certec, like,
okay. Yeah. And then I also do nomad work for Banksa, fiat to crypto on-ramping and off-ramping. And then the coolest thing is I just get to talk with so many different builders
Yeah.
and learn what they're building, learn what they have, what they know about. And then on top of that, run TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen. Daily, consistently inconsistent, but daily. Today is episode 387.
Wow.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day.
387 days.
Yes.
So what do you do when you're not an event like this? You just talk to the phone?
Well, I'll have spaces, scheduling protocols and stuff like that. People join. Whatever I've seen, regulation, because Web3 is always changing. There's something new every day.
Very true.
This last month, we've been
I have
doing
to put it on my nightly listen. You got a time you do it, or is it
consistently inconsistent.
Okay. Guess
Yeah.
you gotta have notifications on.
Notifications on.
Hit that bell.
Hit that bell. Like, retweet.
Hit
Comment.
that motherfucking bell.
But back to basics. It's been this last month, from using a DEX, using different protocols and stuff like that. How to, I love Degen boxing, lend borrow protocols and stuff like that on stables.
Okay.
Governance and stuff like that. How to participate in DAOs,
What do you think about DAOs as an organization structure?
So I think that if an organization is first starting out, it should not be a DAO, because you have what I unfortunately referred to as creeper feet once, rather.
Creeper feet?
Yeah, I was supposed to say feature creep, but I had said creature feet instead, and
so it's stuck.
It's stuck.
Feature feet. I like that.
But like with feature creep, you're like, okay, cool. It was Doom. Doom 2 took 16 years to come out, because every time they started to get to finalization, they're like, let's add this, let's add that, and every new thing, rather than getting out a product and then running upgrades. And I think that for a DAO, you need mission, you need purpose.
Yeah.
And what is the goal or end result for it?
Do you follow Arbitrum governance at all?
I do.
Okay. So we're Arbitrum governance delegates. Are you familiar with the Plurality Labs grants program, or kind of what they're working through?
I think I've seen it. It's been a moment. I have
You know
my
who
notifications on.
Disruption Joe is? He was a Gitcoin employee for a long time. I think was the first employee of the Gitcoin DAO when they decentralized. Has been involved with DAOs since pretty much the beginning of DAOs. But he put together a team called Plurality Labs. A lot of them come from the Gitcoin DAO and kind of that background. But there was I don't want to say contentious debate, but there was a point when the DAO was formed. I mean, all the AIP1 stuff with all the drama that was on Twitter. Yeah, I don't got to tell you about that. You know what that is. Yeah.
Within the first 2 hours of Arbitrum launching, I think I claimed in the first 30 minutes, and I did two things. I took half the coins and I staked them, took the other half and moved them to MEXC and shorted them. Then at the same time, delegated to myself. And I think I put together like a quick little synopsis, like why I should be a delegate for Arbitrum.
Yeah.
And I think I got like one vote or one token like associated to me. And I was like, all right, cool. I tried again.
With Arbitrum, it's actually funny. We had already had Optimism and DYDX in partnership with A16Z. And then because I guess we had those delegations, and I think because we had a number in our name, we organically got 1.5 million in our.
You were at the top of the list.
Like, yeah. I think that's what it was. I think we were at the top of the list and just grew to be like a top 10 delegate at the beginning. And we had the reputation of doing it before, something that might have helped, but I think it was really just we were a number. And so we were at the top and people would see us and you get trending and it was like that. We've gone down significantly since then. I don't think honestly don't know how or why. I don't think it's because people hate the way we vote. Maybe it is. I don't know. But anyways, back to what we were talking about. So I'd say the second and really the only other controversial vote there's been since then was around the idea of the DAO organized grant program, or yeah, the DAO organized grant program. So the foundation has their own grant program that they're working on. I can't remember if they've released it or not officially. I do know that they've talked about it publicly, but at the time they hadn't said anything about that it was going to happen. So it was kind of like the DAO has access to this big treasury. We know there needs to be a grants program. What is the best way to do it? So actually, when this debate was kind of going on, and I'll get into what the debate is, but the foundation dropped a nugget that they were going to do a grants program, so it threw a wrench into everything. But anyways, there was like pretty much two options on the table. One of them was a company called Questbook, which they have this like essentially grants platform that they've developed for running grants programs. And what they'll do is they'll go to protocols that do not have a DAO funded grants program. They'll offer to provide this platform for a certain fee, and then they'll help you establish the grants program. And they've done it before. They did it for.
Didn't they do it for a coin DAO for a little bit?
If they did, I don't know that they did. They may have.
Yeah.
They may have. There's one major protocol that they did it for, and I am blanking on what it was. I'm actually gonna look it up because it's gonna bother me. 1 second, Taco. Do you go by Taco?
I do go by Taco.
Fuck yeah. Like the league. You watch the league?
I'm older than the league.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
people call you Taco before the show?
Yes. My as I like to say, my Christian name is player1taco.e, but that's a mouthful. And so you can just call me Taco. It's also a mouthful, but a good one.
You've used that before. That's good. That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
But no.
Ave, maybe?
Oh, Ave. All right.
Ave?
They pushed out, GoCoin. I've seen that push, getting some good momentum and stuff lately, I think.
Ave, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, the stable coin?
Yep.
I honestly don't know too much about it, to be honest with you. Anyways, I can't find it.
So Degen things. I want to talk Degen things tonight. I've talked AI, ethics, morality of code censorship, code push. Okay. You said you do Degen. Do you LP pool hop for incentives?
No. I'll tell you what some of my friends do for Degen things.
Okay.
I will not tell you what I do. There's a guy I know that was one of the biggest holders. This is probably like the worst place to talk about this, but he was one of the biggest holders of Girly ETH when there was like that massive Girly ETH shortage.
Yeah.
And was literally moving markets on a coin that was supposed to be worth nothing. Like literally had
I have like
hundreds of thousands of
I have like
dollars.
10 billion DAI on Girly.
How? Why?
I don't know how. I just accumulated, And what's really funny is like when people put up like sacrifices and stuff like that, they're like, send nothing, expect nothing. I send them like 10 million DAI, and I'm like, I sent you.
Go to Girly ETH.
Yeah. Yeah, I made friends with this dude, and I was like, "What's your wallet address?" They're like, "Why?" I was like, "I want to send you something so you can say I never, can't ever say I didn't send you anything."
Do you have Taco Coin?
I do.
Can I have some?
Sure.
Are you gonna rug me if I claim it?
No.
Fuck yeah. All right.
Do you want Solana or do you want Arbitrum, or is it Polygon, or is it? I think it might be on
I
the
don't know
Polygon.
if I have Phantom on my phone. Let's talk D-Gods.
Okay.
You have a D-God. What do you think of the whole situation that's going on?
I am out on the loop.
Okay.
So I think.
I guess first, how long have you been in D-Gods? What got you into it?
So I've been out of DGOTS for a while.
Okay, you've been out of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think one of the questions that was asked, like, what does on-chain need to do for NFTs and to have a utility and stuff like that? I was like, well, fuck, the biggest NFT utility is community. And I think
I don't know if I agree with that, but I'll let you finish.
I think that shows the most value because like I compared it to sports teams.
Okay.
You know, buying things, continuously buying the latest jersey, the latest, you know, mini football, basketball, whatever, you know, the buying, purchasing power, but the feel of camaraderie and that you have an association to someone else.
Sure.
What I really like out of some of the communities like Degods, Pudgy Penguins.
I have a pudgy too.
I have my little.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Wait a second. You have that backpack?
Yeah, that's my backpack.
Do other people have that backpack?
From my project, yeah.
I saw someone with that backpack dude, it might have been you. Were you wearing crazy glasses at a party in Consensus?
Yes.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. I remember you. Let's go.
Yeah.
Sick backpack. I'm glad
Thank
you
you.
showed me that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually minted Pudgies. I've had it since. Never sold it, even through like the coal bullshit.
Okay.
I just thought it was good art. Well, like marketable art.
So
yeah, it's no masterpiece, but
I had the option of buying a Pudgy or a little Pudgy.
Okay.
Last June, you know, and that was because like I had some limit orders on ETH, you know, and ding 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 at 2 o'clock in the morning, ETH hit like $900, and my phone says you bought it. I was like, yes.
Last June?
Yeah, when it hit like
ETH was at 900.
Yeah, during NFT NYC last year.
It did get under 1,000, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, sorry. Continue.
And so I was like, well, and so I bought into a bunch of different communities that just literally because I like the art.
Yeah.
You know, but Pudgy's was, you know, it's like, I don't want a penguin. It's like a little. So I bought myself that little. That's my little.
What do you think? You know, Luca's not hyped up or really teased, but mentioned there's a big announcement coming. And
yeah,
I actually interviewed him at Web3TL last year.
So I was actually, I talked to Luca on a space, and I had secured an interview, a live in-person interview with him here at Permissionless.
This year?
This year.
He's here? I didn't know that.
He was going, so he's going to Token 2049.
Yeah.
And so he messaged me. He's like, hey, I can't do that interview. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to Token 2049 or Permissionless.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I responded, I was like, just so you know, the self-serving bastard in me says you need to come to Permissionless.
But you should definitely go.
But you should definitely, for the power of Pudgies and that entire unknown markets
100%.
and everything, Token
especially in Singapore. Asia's popping off right now.
Yeah.
But anyways, we were at biggest utility of NFTs. You said community, which I said I didn't agree with, and that's not a true. I do agree. Like I think it facilitates the organization and community and camaraderie.
So community, but then what comes out of that community? And so I said D-Gods, you know, and then I'm also going to say like Pudgy Penguins, you know, how many builders come out of it? You know, we can look at nouns and stuff like that. You know, how many, not necessarily derivative projects, but IP supporting, you know, and
D-Gods has done that better than anyone.
Yeah.
Well, maybe nouns, I guess.
D-Labs, nouns, Pudgy Penguins, so many builders out of Pudgy, you know, like, and the inspirational pieces for them, you know, and then the support from the project, I think, is one of the coolest things. We saw that with like Degen Ape Academy, a ton of builders out of there.
I never got into that. D-Gods is really the only Solana NFT touch I ever touched. My cousin told me to buy it, so I did. I'm glad I did. But I did meet some of the Degen Ape Academy's team though. They are very nice.
Yeah, they're cool peeps.
But anyways,
builders all the way around.
Okay.
So like I think that is a sign of the utility of what comes out of it.
Okay. I agree with what comes out of it. I think there's very, very few proper use cases of NFTs that have been actually utilized in the right way. I think Pudgy Penguins is one of the first ones that's really innovating the application of NFTs, because they started with the community. Like you said, you have that online camaraderie, and that's great because one, like as the world digitizes, online communities are going to matter a ton more. If you can find a way to make it sticky and actually give them a reason to like spend more time together. Usually it's like around a game or something, but if this is just around, being friends, that's good. And then when not only is the world getting more digital, the youth grew up digital only, so it's going to keep going digital. That's my point. So facilitating the community of NFTs is great. But then you have to find a way to bridge that to the real world, which is really where connection actually happens. And sure, maybe there's the metaverse angle in the future where that's not always the case, but and Luca and the Pudgy Penguins team has done an incredible job of taking what they started as an online community, building a brand around it, making something that's actually applicable to real life use cases, and using that to expand the brand and give back to the community that helped start it in the first place. There's very, very few projects. I mean, Artifacts maybe is one, but that was mainly just because Nike bought them, which is cool. Nouns has done a good job of that. Nouns has done a really good job of that. But that was more like a experiment on DAOs than NFTs. NFTs was kind of just like,
Well, for a DAO that can only grow by one person a week,
yeah,
I think that's one that
exactly.
it's almost, you have an onboarding process. They have a whole thing.
It's really cool, actually. Nouns is sweet.
I wish that, and this is just out of sheer hatred for Discord.
Hate Discord. Oh my god, I hate Discord.
Um,
Seems like everyone hates Discord.
oh man, Africa's largest gaming guild hated Discord so much, and their users hated Discord so much they went and made their own communication platform.
What's it called?
Gamic.
Have you tried it?
I looked at the deck for it. I haven't had a chance to use it and stuff like
Is
that.
it new?
They put it out last year. Yeah. Common Ground is another one that's completely token gated and stuff like that. I think Discord just allowed BiddleBox cost me $99 a day.
Why?
Because I was in 153 servers, and I stopped my Discord Nitro a while ago, so your Discord limits you to 100 servers,
okay.
And if you have Nitro, it limits you to 200.
Okay.
And so I started, because I couldn't join any more Discords, I started leaving, and I left like 14 Discords. I said, but no, I like these groups. I'm barely ever in them, but I like what I see here, and I want to, have access to them whenever I want. And I was like, So to do the final step of my hackathon, I had to go do that.
You had to get Nitro again?
Yeah. So I think that's sort of.
Is 153 an actual number, or is that the ballpark?
That was an actual number.
Did you count, or does it tell you?
No, I counted. I counted at one point. Yeah. And I hadn't left any groups, and I wasn't able to join any new groups, so I left it there. And then
You're crazy, Taco. Crazy. All right, tell me, so you're participating in the hackathon?
I did put in for some teams and stuff like that to sort of help on the social media or BD side of any other cool connections, or even just copy grab.
Okay.
So I quit coding a long time ago, and so
which of the teams here are you helping?
I walked in here 5 hours ago, sat in that chair, and have been talking with everyone ever since. So that's as far as I've gotten so far.
You haven't moved.
And I've moved 3 seats now.
Okay, good for you. That's crazy.
And so but I think that's sort of the fun thing. So you were gonna say what your friend was doing that was very degenic?
We keep getting back to that.
Oh yeah.
This one guy in particular.
Moving ETH.
Yeah, this was the girly ETH guy. He's super big into bit tensor, not financial advice. Very much into all of the low market cap, high bet shitcoin trading.
Hey, I 200x leverage and go to sleep.
That's wild. That is wild to me, Taco. Like big bets or small bets? Hoping that
I go long.
Okay. I've never been quite that risky. It's too much for me to swallow. I like to keep my gambling to poker
Okay.
because I love poker.
Have you seen some of the ZK poker stuff?
No.
Oh.
Well, so no. Like roll bits? Is that ZK?
No, not roll bits.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, tell me
so
about it.
there's some ZK stuff from like Ape Poker. Then there's ZK Poker itself.
Is it fully live
Mhm.
on what chain?
ZK Byte, I think.
ZK Lite? I don't know what that is.
It's the Polygon ZK,
Uh,
I think is what they're calling it. That's what I'm seeing it.
Era?
Yeah. I think, yeah. Yes.
I think it's Era.
Yeah. I,
They
you
have
gotta
like
remember, I
they
have like 50 chains on my MetaMask.
it's too many.
I got rid of some of them.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm no longer using BNB King.
That's good. That's actually pretty funny.
Oh, hey, you know.
Why did you use BNB King to begin with?
Because I wanted to use this site that was like, I was like, oh, what's this?
I don't even want to know what that was, Taco. I don't even want to
I was-
know what
there
that
was-
was.
There was a Dex, and there
You
was
hear
some-
this, man?
There was a Dex, and there
BNB
was
King.
oh yeah, and there was high incentives, and I was down for the incentives.
I love it.
You know. Like right now, I'm doing LP hopping in on base swap, and you know, how can you turn down 600%?
What? You can't. Where's their 600%?
On base swap.
Base swap on base?
Mm-hmm.
Is it sanctioned by Coinbase?
Some of their biggest decks.
And they have 600% APY on
Before,
board.
yeah, because they're not forever. They're incentivized. But
I've never understood.
I'm getting trading fees on USD and paid out in USDC, so I can't really turn that down.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
I do have another friend that wants to build GMX, but for base.
Nice.
They're gonna call it Base Trader.
Okay.
I think he's actually working on it, like
Nice.
doing it for real. But it's like very much illegal in America. So
Good thing he's not in America.
good thing he lives in
Denmark.
Denmark.
Yep.
Good thing he lives in Denmark.
Yep.
I have friends in Denmark, all over the world. Am I? I wasn't even in the screen. Oh boy. Awkward.
Just a voice from the side. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So where are you from, Taco?
Right now, I live in New York.
Okay.
The
The big city?
big city, Manhattan, Hell's Kitchen.
The windy city. The city of lights.
I think that's a different city.
They're both
Windy
different
City
cities.
is Chicago.
And City Lights is Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a cool. So really controversial topic tonight.
Perfect.
GIF
me
or
with it.
GIF?
Great question, by the way. I'd like to start out with that. GIF.
Thank you.
It's GIF. I'm not an animal.
Yeah.
Rules are all we've got, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually don't believe that. Rules are made for people who can't think for themselves. Heard that here first.
Unless they're on chain.
Well, yeah, then that's. I heard you talking about code is law earlier.
Yeah.
Unless they're on chain.
No.
Are we taking a phone call mid podcast?
No.
Let's do it. Put them on speaker.
Ah.
I feel like that's something you'd do.
It probably has been one time I had a scammer on the call. Called me on Telegram,
That's awesome.
and so it was live.
And did you just try to keep them talking as long as you could?
Yes.
I do that all the time, actually.
It was pretty fun. They were the support, administrative support for Boba, and they
Like the T.
no, the network.
Oh.
Yeah, the L2.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not as fun, but
No.
Yeah.
Boba's all right.
I actually
it had,
don't
it
even
had
like
its
Boba
heydays.
tea. Oh, you're talking about the network.
Yeah. You
I'm
don't
still
like
talking about
boba
the tea.
tea? Oh my
I think
god.
it's overhyped. I mean, I think the Californians love it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I
It's
love
not
it.
even just honestly, like most people love it. I think it's good. Don't get me wrong. I I don't think it's as good as people seem to think it is.
Yeah,
But
but
anyways,
man, what are you most excited about?
Blockchain?
Permissions.
permissionless. Honestly, this hackathon has been a blast. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Really high quality developers here. Blockworks did a hell of a job.
Shout out to Blockworks.
Shout out to Blockworks.
Yeah.
Permissionless is my favorite conference of the year. I'm curious your thoughts on that opinion.
Okay.
So the overall event, I'm very excited about. I'm very interested in learning more about people's takes on the crossover between blockchain and AI.
Okay.
Big believer that they are on a convergence path. Things like proof of identity, the identity of the internet is perfect for blockchain and is very much needed because of AI. The commoditization of content, information, of mundane work, all of that has been and will continue to be revolutionized because of the evolution of AI. And blockchain is the perfect thing to complement it in a way that's ensures you're still talking to a human, which is going to be pretty important, especially with how I believe the internet and the world will evolve. So, long story short, very interested to see the topics that talk about the convergence of blockchain and AI. So that's one. Very.
Can I turn you on to something?
Yeah, please do.
Singularity Net.
Okay, what is it?
Dr. Ben Goretz. AI. He's been doing AI for like 20 some odd years.
Singularity Net.
Yeah.
Network.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got 8 different AI programs going.
Okay.
One of the AIs is Sophia, the robot, the only AI that has citizenship out of the UAE.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm against that entire premise, but tell me about it.
So one of
How did he get an AI a citizenship?
Is
it publicity stunt?
But it's still granted and given.
That's hilarious.
He has one AI program that has 8 different like AI modals, and I use the difference between model and modal. It's spelled the same, but
Same word or no?
Same word, but just said differently.
Okay.
When I'm talking AI framework and stuff like that,
Why?
to separate the verbiage, I think. So for me, it's clarity of statement for me. So
Not to be confused with an Instagram model.
correct.
Okay.
Or my model of physique.
For your physique that could be modeling.
Modeling, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely not modeling.
No, that's for damn sure.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure.
Damn sure. But one of the things that he had, so 8 different AIs that learned how to communicate with each other, and now they're communicating nonstop. And he's doing it on chain. Moved it from EVM to Cardano. So
Build an app chain for each of them.
yeah, and so there's that.
Wait,
Trading.
no, I was thinking of Cosmos. Cardano.
Yeah,
Why?
that would be a question for him.
What do you think of Cardano?
I like Charles Hoskinson. IOHK, I think, provides. I want to see more use out of it. I think they're looking at that institutional level support. But what is very interesting is I don't really know what institutional support it's providing. Maybe that, it's all closed door stuff, and they're waiting, through their midnight chain and everything like that.
I don't know much about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I stick pretty clearly in the EVM chain or the EVM vertical.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Bitcoin, but I've never gone super far down the rabbit hole. I understand the use case for it and appreciate.
You collect it.
Yeah. But
store value.
That heuristic makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like a guarantee that will be what is used as a store of value, but I think it makes a ton of sense that it could be or should be. But when it comes to a bunch of other L1s, I think there's too many anyways. I do actually appreciate some of the stuff that Avalanche is working on.
Yeah.
They just released something super, super cool. And I forget what it is now.
With Proto,
Maybe? Tell me what it is.
some gaming thing, and they just got a game that is going to be launching on PS5 and Xbox.
That's cool.
Here they had
Cool.
they had an
Sorry,
amazing,
stream. I'm
a
fading.
amazing event at Token 2049.
Okay, I don't think it's gaming related. I want to say it's. I'm pretty sure. Oh, this is what it is. It's one click you can spin up your own app chain.
Okay.
So like, are you familiar with Red Hat? Okay. Cloud virtualization software. They kind of revolutionized the um, virtual machine spin up process. I guess.
Yeah.
VMware did too, but regardless, anyways, they're trying to do that, but for blockchains and enabling people to utilize the data structure of a blockchain without needing to. Maybe it's not even that you set up your own app chains. It might even be that you set up your own
I know they
network of app
I
chains.
think they did a partnership with like
Subnets?
Google Cloud and everything like that for one click setup node spin-ups
I'm
as well.
sure it's being hosted on Google Cloud. That wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me at all. But it seems like a very good use case. And
I think that makes short-term lived chains for specific purposes and projects, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And so they could be sunset and move on, you know?
And that's the beauty of, I mean, it's like a virtual machine, but for blockchains, and you spin it up, use it while you need it, spin it back down, or you can keep using it. But like that's half the fun or half the beauty of it is you can use
Yeah.
it for what you need, and then that's it.
And you can find so many ghost chains too.
Sure.
Yeah.
You can always find ghost chains. Alpha,
Super.
you can call me beta. Wait,
Beta.
that's
No,
bad.
that's not-
No,
that's-
yeah, no, you can't call me beta. Don't call me that.
Omega.
Omega.
Alpha and Omega.
Yeah, there we
Yeah.
go. There we go.
I think that there's just some cool stuff. You know, sort of the same concept was built out in Polkadot with they have the parachains, then they have the parathreads, spin up chains temporarily for.
I haven't
certain
looked into
applications.
Polkadot too much either. I know. I'm not trying to insult you. That's the last thing I'd want to do, talk to him.
No, I'm not insulted. I'm like, man, I just don't think, you know, there's not one chain to rule them all. And I think that, one, there's so many cool things out there. You know, you don't know where the next cool thing's gonna be. You don't know what or who it's going to attract. And I think it's an amazing thing. You know, so
Flip the question back on you.
okay.
What are you excited for about permissionless? Other than talking to people, because I know you're excited about that.
I may possibly have an interview with Vitalik and Eric Voorhees. Really excited about that.
You may possibly, or you do.
You never know until it happens or doesn't happen.
Sure.
I've been given the opportunity.
What are you gonna ask him? You thought through it, or you're just gonna wing it?
Wing it. Obviously, maybe might talk about the Vitalik Twitter hack today.
Okay, I saw little rumorings of that. I didn't know it actually did happen.
So possibly, you know, his Twitter got hacked. Posted a drain link. You know, whether it was
People who are still falling for that are fucking idiots.
Hey, you know,
it doesn't matter who tweets about it.
Yeah.
No one's tweeting links to do shit.
Well, sometimes some people do.
I mean, no reputable protocol is gonna all of a sudden after no announcements just be like, click this link.
Yeah. But see, that's the thing. The meta was that people were doing that for a while.
You're right. That's true. No,
And
that was
so-
a thing.
And
then
people,
during NFT summer, it was very much a thing.
you know, and
Maybe even
tokens
before that.
and everything like that. You
I
know,
see
like
stuff.
How much, you know, during the Arbitrum claim, you know, so many different you know,
Fake ones. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so heck, there was even fake claims that just gave fake token out. It served no purpose. They weren't even rugs or drains. They just gave them free tokens to make them think they got something.
Nothing. Yeah.
You know,
Okay, so you're gonna ask him about that.
possibly. I know there was a new thing that he put out. I want to talk about what he thinks on the Ethereum Foundation's roadmap change and everything like that.
He just came out with a new article about something.
Privacy.
Privacy. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Okay.
It's on my agenda. I was supposed to listen to it while like the last 3 hours of my drive, but I instead was listening to Twitter Spaces and different YouTube videos of like Paul Barron Network and stuff like that. So,
Account abstraction. He didn't talk about that at DevCon. No, I don't know. Something recently.
he did a talk.
Maybe it was DevCon last year.
Yeah, he did a talk recently on something nothing. I don't know what the talk was on. He was recently in Palau for their citizenship and stuff like that, KYC stuff, and own an NFT, have a citizenship in Palau.
I'm curious. I've been talking to a good bit of people that are kind of in the institutional space of crypto, and all of them pretty much are telling me that DeFi will become bifurcated into DeFi and then KYC DeFi.
Yeah.
And all the liquidity is going to be on KYC DeFi because that's where the institutions will come in. There still will be non-KYC DeFi because there's still going to be degenerates.
Yeah.
And whales that don't care.
Yeah.
Or don't want.
And most subsidiaries of KYC companies will be there because there's going to be money for them to scoop out and take as well.
Yeah. But I'm curious how you think that will unfold.
I think that we're going to see a lot of different cool things, whether everyone wants to participate in them or not. That will be a big difference. Just because something is cool and innovative doesn't mean people will choose to be part of it. Like I don't really partake in anything on Flow chain. I see Flow as a KYC chain.
Oh, the Dapper thing. I think it's dead.
That one's dead. Oh well.
You got multiple? Taco. What's that flavor?
Vanilla ice cream.
Can I try it? Anti.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
If I had an extra one, I would give it to you.
Pop.
But
vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Hey man, I go from smoking cloves to why not bubblegum fruity watermelon berry fruit. I'm like, okay, yeah.
I like
Okay.
fruity berry fruit.
Yeah. Triple berry. Yeah, let's do that. Blue? That's a flavor? All right. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
But we have been going for a minute. And, I know people got to get to sleep.
I'm probably gonna go take a quick nap.
Got to take a nap. Gotta go eat food. Since I've been doing interviews, I haven't been able to eat sliders or anything like that yet.
We'll get you some food.
There's food left, but I want to thank you, and you're gonna help us end this show.
Okay.
This is how we have ended every single show, 387. And then just so you know, half the time, if we're on a show and we get rubbed right away by Twitter, we go and start like episode 62.2, 62.3, 62.7. To finish out the show.
Good man.
Hey, got to.
Dedicated. I like it.
Always. But we do two things.
Okay.
Words of wisdom, final thoughts.
Okay.
And the best, worst, knock joke on the face of the planet.
Love it.
So, final thoughts and words of wisdom.
I'm a big believer in that you are your 5 best friends. So the 5 people you spend the most time with are going to be the people that influence your actions, your thoughts, the things that you do, and the way that you are. So pick those 5 people carefully and intentionally because it's going to have a major impact on how your life turns out. Words of wisdom. Best, worst knock knock joke on the planet.
Yep. So that's what I end.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
So I end every show with my same words of wisdom.
Oh,
A closed mouth cannot be fed, and you cannot feed a closed mouth.
love it.
Meaning, if no one knows you're looking for opportunity, opportunity can never come a knock.
True.
And if it does, and no one answers, it's going to keep on walking.
Absolutely.
And then we end with the greatest, worst knock knock joke on the face of the planet.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. Knock knock.
Who's there?